Peace, peace, peace. What's up, huh?
Hey, well, you crazy. I seen that title. I said, let me come in there real quick. Lay down a couple tracks. You know what I'm saying? Lay down a couple tracks. Got some information back up.
Man, what's going on with you?
What's up, man? What it do?
Man, I'm just trying to see what's going on with you, man. I know we talked yesterday on the show, and we talked about the dung beetle. You loud and you clear, so I definitely hear you. Man, let us know, man, what the ancestors are saying, man, and, because I think you made some things that was hooked up with evolution, with the dung beetle, Let us know, man. What's the scenario on it, man? What's the deal with it?
I think the first point that I made was real clear that Charles Darwin didn't even have no training in that area, basically, and he taught himself, and so that's probably a crazy revelation to people. As much as they kind of big up Darwin, right? You would think that he had all kind of degrees in evolution and evolutionary science, but he just didn't. What he did was he did what everybody did before him, just studied the natural world, took real good notes. But the thing that really helped him out in the process, was the dung beetle. I think I got that pretty much sourced out. I'm gonna read a little section from my book, and I'm just going to show and prove basically how Darwin and modern science use the dung beetle to get a real serious understanding of evolution. If I can pull that off, which I know I can, then it wouldn't be hard for us to understand the great minds of African people that they could have did the same goddamn thing. And the truth is, like they always do, they always cut us, right? They would never really tell you how they got a good understanding to even begin to add to evolution, right? So I'm going to go straight to the homework real quick, all right? I think y'all can get this article by Rolf G. Buntel, all right? The name of the article, listen to the audience, is Charles Darwin, Beetles and Phylogenetics. I'm going to say it again. It's called Charles Darwin, Beetles and Phylogenetics. It was published March 13, 2009, revised in June 11, 2009, okay? It says the abstract. It says, here we review Charles Darwin's relationship to beetles and developments in Coleopterian systematics, that's the type of dung beetle, in the last 2 centuries. Says Darwin was an enthusiastic beetle collector. He used beetles to illustrate different evolutionary phenomena in his major works. And astonishingly, an entire subchapter is dedicated to beetles in Descent of Man. Now, how many of us knew that? Not many, because ain't nobody read the damn book. And I see that we have a lot to say about Darwin based off of his color of his skin, right? Making the same mistakes that the European made with us. So we don't even look at nobody's skin when we give them this homework. We want to know if the homework is right. Because like they say, white people will lie, black people might lie, but numbers don't, okay? And so let me breeze down here a little bit, right? All right, here it goes on to talk about, it says, over the past decade, horn beetles and the genus of Orthophagus, type of beetle, have emerged as a promising model system in evolutionary development, developmental biology, evo-devo, and ecological development of eco-devo. Specifically, Orthophagus beetles have attracted an attention of researchers, right? Due to the fact that the Orthophagus beetle stand out as the animal kingdom's most species genius. What does that statement mean? It means it has the most diversity in any species on the planet. very, very interesting. And how many of y'all knew that? They got about 300,000 different species of dung beetles. So now we're cooking now, right? Now we doing that real back atheist thing, bringing information to the people that they wasn't even aware of. Wasn't nobody talking about this. They just wasn't up on it. Other communities was up on it, but not our community. Goes on to say, right, I'm going to go to the conclusion. It says the increasingly availability of genetic development and genomic technologies and resources outside classical model organisms. There's that word again. We're talking about model organisms now, right? That means they're using this particular organism as a model to understand certain natural phenomena. A classic model organism has permitted dung beetles to emerge as a promising group of investigating developmental evolution in nature and in the laboratory. In the process, studies on dung beetle, Evo Devo and Echo Devo, right, have begun to contribute to many fundamental and long-standing debates in evolutionary biology. It's a given the very recent nature of some of these developments, dung beetles, Evo Devo, promises to be an exciting area in future research with the potential for much discovery and much integration between development, evolution, ecology, and behavior. So modern science, right, is studying these dung beetles, right, to give a understanding of the things I just mentioned. Watch this. Another book, but you're going to have to pay $200 for this book. The title of the book is called Ecology and Evolution of Dung Beetles, edited by Lane W. Simmons, okay? Wiley Blackwell Publishing, all right? Right there in front of you, all right? Let me get a title to the book one more time, all right? So we all be on the same page. It's called Ecology and Evolution of Dung Beetles by Simmons, all right? So you want to say something right now? Because I can go right into my book and finish laying it down.
Yeah. Now, as in regards to the dung beetle, you know, when you talk about ancient Africans, or when you know earlier, like you talked about, are you talking about a specific sect of Africans, or are you talking about the Egyptians? Because I know that KhepeRa. I know about KhepeRa, and I know you mentioned that yesterday. You talked about to become, right?
Yep.
So when you look at KhepeRa, are you making mention of dealing with the Egyptians, as far as what they thought on the dung beetle?
Yeah, when I mentioned the word KhepeRa, that's Kemet. Remember, she wasn't called Kemet until the 11th dynasty. Most people don't know that. I just want to throw that fact out there. The word was there, but it wasn't called Kemet until that. Well, go ahead.
Okay, now you also mentioned when you said the origin of species, right? And you talked about Darwin's book. Now,
I don't think I used the origin. Let me see. Hold on. I don't think I said the origin of species. I said descent. Was it Descent of Man? The book I was talking about.
Okay.
Probably made that mistake.
Okay, but we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that later on. Now, when you
Descent of Man, with sure of it. Descent of Man. And he wrote a whole subchapter in it. The title of the book is Descent of Man by Charles Darwin.
Okay, so when you say the descent of man, is that talking about man as far as degenerating or decaying, or what do you mean by that? What I mean?
The descent. You know where he came from. The descent. How man came to be.
He's descendant, basically, or descent, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay, all right. Yeah. So my next thing would be to ask you is this. Now, from a ancient Kemet perspective, how did they view the dung beetle? what was they theology on the dung beetle?
It's funny. Watch this. Let me go to my book. Let me go to chapter 9 of my book, Ankhekek Study Guide to Real African History, right? Chapter 9. It's called The Dung Beetle is Important to African Science and Evolution, right? I say this is true. In his book, The Descent of Man, Darwin wrote an entire subchapter on the dung beetle. Give the source. Because their biology makes them special. There happens to be more species of beetles, over 300,000, on the planet than any other animals. This makes the beetles the most species-rich taxon on the planet Earth. Beetles are found everywhere except Antarctica. By studying a creature that contains fully 1/4 of the animal species, Western scientists can learn general concepts of ecology and evolution. Right? I read that in that peer-reviewed article.
Hold on, you said what about evolution again? You said what kind of evolution?
I said ecology and evolution, studying the environment.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Okay,
now,
go ahead.
They say it is not coincidental. Ancient Africans and Europeans have found KhepeRa useful in studying evolution. Right. Some beetle species act as nature's decomposer units. You know, dung beetles eat a lot of stuff and they break it down. They recycle organic nutrients too. Also, the adaptability of beetles give researchers insight into the ways that nature evolves, because many beetle species seem to last forever. See, most people don't understand that these dung beetles, like the hominids, right? Homogeneous family, they went extinct. A lot more things have been extinct on this planet than are living right now. But these damn dung beetles, they don't seem to go extinct. All right? Like these dung beetles seem to last forever. Meaning, I'm not saying they don't die. I'm saying that the beetle does not go extinct and something else carries forward. That these damn beetles seem to last forever. All right? That's important for people to study that. But why does that happen? All right? I give about 6-7 references. I don't want to read all that because I had to make sure my work sourced out. You can go to Perkins, though, for that. Beetles almost never go extinct in the Journal of Science. That's just one thing right there. Let me keep going, though. It says, early Africans represented the workings of their environment to such a great extent that we deified evolution. I'm going to say this again. Early Africans respected the workings of their environment to such a great extent that we deified evolution. After all, there can be no life without evolution. That's right. Because the key to life is diversity. Keep going. The Kemetan text, including the 5th chapter of the history of creation of the gods and of the world, examine evolution. It said the classical African scholarship, KhepeRa becomes the creator. I'm going to say this again. In classical African scholarship, KhepeRa becomes the creator. That was transformed.
Hold on for a minute, real quick. Pause right there.
To being.
Pause right there. I got a quick question. Now, would you agree that ancient Egyptians or ancient cultures, right, when they looked at this dung beetle, would you agree what interested them was that this dung beetle, how he pushed, and they took notice of him pushing this dung? Would you agree to that?
Well, I mean, that was one of the things that's one of the ways they depicted that. But that's not why they got them interested in him. I'm pretty sure they got interested in dung beetles because there were so many of them, and there were so many different of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look in nature, as you're studying it, you start to notice, wow, there's a whole lot of different types of these beetles. I'm thinking that's the first thing that gave them interest, was the sheer diversity and the sheer ancientness of these beetles. And basically just the way that the dung beetle carried on. But go ahead.
Well, just think, I'm sitting here, right? I know that I see these beetles, I know that there are a lot of these beetles, but what interests me is when I see these beetles rolling these balls of dung. That wouldn't interest them. I mean, would they? That's very interesting to see these beetles rolling these dungs and then climbing on top of these dungs to navigate and see basically the rest of the way where they need to go. Navigating. They say these dung beetles actually navigate by the sun and also the Milky Way. That's what I read.
Yep, exactly that. I know how you like to set traps too, but I'm gonna walk right into that cage.
Okay.
Right
I'm just.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna walk right into that cage.
Now,
that is absolutely one aspect of that. That is absolutely one aspect of it.
Okay, so we see that. Listen, if I'm sitting here right now, right, I'm just sitting around. I see all these beetles. They probably scary. They probably getting on my nerves. I see them. But the main thing that I notice about these beetles is they are pushing these balls of dung, and that's my main thing that I see. Now, my question to you is that one of the things that I would notice out of anything that these dung beetles are pushing these balls, and it's something interesting because it also deals with something as far as in my culture or as far as historical events as far as how things was created. But go ahead, Doug.
I would say that would be one aspect of it, right? And I wouldn't suppose that I was in the mind of every African that looked at a beetle neither. And then I wouldn't suppose that the African would be just a dumb nigga and all they can do is look at the damn dung beetle push shit and that's all they got out of it. But yet Charles Darwin and them can look at dung beetles and get a total understanding of how things transform and evolve. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, at a certain point, we got to recognize, that our ancestors were
we got to understand Charles Darwin
as we are today. That's the point I want to make.
Now, hold on. I listen. I agree to somewhat to that. Now, you have to know this.
I can prove that though.
Our ancestors was definitely intelligent. But hold on, didn't act like they was intelligent as we see people being intelligent today. No, we have learned by experience.
Hold on, freeze. Hold on. May I direct you to the documentary? I think the name of the documentary is called. What is the name of the documentary? It's called The First Humans. Absolutely. And what they saying that in 196,000 years ago, there is no evidence that would suggest that these Homo sapiens was less intelligent than we are today. They was absolutely as intelligent or not more than we are today. And it's documented right there. That's what modern
Well, hold on. Understand.
That's what the white boys say.
Okay.
That's what the China boys say. And that's what the Raw squad say.
Wait. Let's get this straight. Let's get this. Hold on. Let's get this straight. Now,
okay.
Now, hold on for a minute. Now, understand this. You just read to me somebody's commentary on how they interpret things. Now, if they was that smart,
I gave you a documentary. Documentary.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, though. But listen, you gotta know.
One of the commentary. One of the commentary, like they got in the Bible, got a commentary.
Hold on. If they was that smart, hold on. I understand that. Hold on. But you know that I know if they was that smart, that when we deal with technology that we see today, emailing, computer work, travel, planes up in the air, that if they woke up now, they'd be like, well, God damn, they have really civilized these things. Come on, man, let's stop playing games. They was very intelligent, but you got to understand, we're learning, and as we go, we continue to learn more things than what we did back then. It's just like a child. We learn, and as we travel out, we have experienced more in different environments, and we learn how to work past these different environments and how to live. So with that being said, we studying more medicine. We learning more cures for the medicine. So you can't say that these people
were as smart as these people is today. They wasn't intelligent, but knowledge is increasing because the environment, and also because we at a point that we have to increase in knowledge unless we're gonna die. But go ahead though.
No, I'm thinking you misconfusion. I made up a word. I think you're confusing technology being predicated and based off of looking at older technology and taking from that and adding to. Although there is a certain level of intelligence, right? But the foundation takes just as much as intelligence, because you don't even get to be able to fly a plane. As a matter of fact, the damn Wright brothers were autodidacts. They didn't have no goddamn schooling in fucking flying, making planes. You know what I'm saying? Shit, they probably watched the birds, looked at certain gliders, because you know these Egyptians had like birds shaped like gliders, right? Just watch the natural environment and seeing how the wing was constructed, okay, and just try that shit. It's called biomimicry. So I'm telling you that the Africans in Africa definitely had math and science. You know that.
Most definitely.
Absolutely had geometry. So I'm just saying is, so based off of what those brothers was doing who was building in mud, right? This gives the Egyptians an advantage over them because they had something to look to gather from and add to. That don't mean you smarter. That just means you are advancing technology, and it always takes a certain level of intelligence to advance technology. Just like it takes a wealth of intelligence to even start some technology, to even begin to look at nature. Remember, all technology comes out of the observation of nature. How well do you discern nature? How well do you calculate? How well do you write down or memorize the things that are occurring in nature? Because you know the termites go back to at least, I talked about this, about 300 million years. And termites build termite hills to this very day. And so we could just surmise that the indigenous people watch these damn termites build. What do they build in? They build in mud. So it's called biomimicry, when you mimic nature.
Yeah.
This is not hard to figure out. This is like ants. Ants build bridges. They absolutely do. I showed this in a lecture. They build bridges over water. They also build floating devices out of themselves. So you can just, me and you, if we just sitting there chilling, right, watch them, we're like, God damn, what they just did. We would try to mimic that. You see, they floating on water. And so it's really no spookism in this thing. Nature is the intelligence at the end of the day. So
now hold on. Now
down on them not being as intelligent.
Well, hold on. Let me say this real quick. Now, you do know that the mind is, there are just certain people that is just smarter than other people. Would you agree to that? Genetically.
That the what?
There are certain people that are smarter than other people just genetically.
No. Certain people are smarter genetically? No.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean genetically?
Yeah. I'm gonna take. Hold on. Listen. In other words, there are when you talk about IQs and levels of intelligence, there are just certain people that are smarter genetically. For instance, my memory may not be like your memory. You might be able to. I have to work harder to basically obtain the amount of memory as far as like remembering things in my head or repeating things over and over again, where you might hear a whole song and might know the whole song within probably like a minute or so. You understand what I'm saying? I watch people do that. I watch people have a short memory, and that short memory causes them to be able to produce more than when a person doesn't have that mindset or as far as that genetically mindset. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. But what I'm saying is there are certain people that are genetically just smarter than other people. Like everybody, like when you talk about indigenous people, everybody doesn't have the idea to create something. Like they don't have that idea. It's not. It doesn't work within them. Like you got more people that's layman, more people that's around saying I want to create this or do this and that. to help towards society. But you got these geniuses that's out here to where every time in their mind they have to basically create something, and this is genetically that is passed down, and they have done studies on people that are intelligent, and it's somehow passed to their offspring. And
where's
they
that study at,
with
though?
each other with this offspring.
Where's the study at so we could take a look at it? So maybe we could come to the same conclusions as you coming to. That's the key in our discussion. I'm
driving right now, but I had to grab it because
Yeah, let me get that study.
But on that, but on that note, I want to say this. Now, you said, as far as when you deal with evolution from the dung beetle from an African perspective. Now, now when we look at this dung beetle, I'm gonna ask you again: what did Egypt? How did they look at this beetle? Tell us about their stories about this beetle, or do we need to get Sanjetti in here? Or can you do that?
I can get Neter-neb. Yeah, I mean he's a meta-nature scholar. I can get him in there real quick.
You can get who in here?
He on speed dial.
Neter-neb,
part of the research team. Hold on. And so he don't even know what we was talking about. I can punch him right in.
Hold on. That's cool. Yeah, so he gonna get the brother in here, but I want to know the specific story line between what is it saying with this dung beetle, because whether we like it or not, it's all in the text. It's all in the text in Egypt about this dung beetle, KhepeRa. What does he do? What is the performance? And also we need to also know the dung beetle, because I've studied it, and when we look at the dung beetle, you got him?
I got him.
All right, cool. So, what's going on, peace, brother?
Hotep family, how you doing?
Chilling, man. Yeah, man, just got a couple of questions for you, man. Well, more than a couple, but the story of KhepeRa, or when you look in the text of KhepeRa, right? Can you explain to the people how did they view this dung beetle, and what was the functions of this dung beetle in the Nile Valley?
Well, I never really translated any text and went and actually reviewed text within the whole text from top to bottom to get a broad scope for you. But I have reviewed databases in which has KhepeRa translated in, and majority of the forms that I've seen within the translated versions in the database, museum database, is some of them translations translate as transformation, being, evolution, something that's transforming from one state to another state. So, in the representations of the KhepeRa beetle will be representations of transformation, but it also have other functions that is so broad that I really can't dig into it accurately. But that's one of the main, as we study in the Institute of Comedic Theology, some texts where we have the KhepeRa beetle in would represent transformation, coming into being, something that comes into being via transformation. So that's the underlying principle to that word, with other diverse meanings to that.
Okay, real quick, because we see, let's not miss this. We see this dung beetle. He's pushing this dung, right? What did that remind the Egyptians of when they seen this this beetle pushing this dung?
Man, let me...
Is it the sun? Is it the sun? I mean, is it?
It can be. When it comes to meta-nature, it depends on the context in which you're speaking of it. But like I said, one of the roots of that word is transformation. So if you see a beetle pushing something and is forming into a ball, a bigger ball. It can be represented as depending on the context. If it's speaking about the sun, if it's speaking about something coming into being, if it's speaking about, evolving. So that's a demonstration right there of transformation, actually, too.
Okay. Well, I've seen depictions of this beetle pushing the sun up into the sky. What is that? What is that telling us? What is it?
Okay. Now again, like I said, coming into another state of being. If you see, that the beetle represents, majority of the time, the context will state, it's that picture you're seeing, it has a context with it. In majority of cases, when you see pictures in Nile Valley, it normally has a context for translation. Majority of the time, if you see that representation, then that's the context in which it's speaking on. It's speaking in the form of majority of states of transformation. Or it's coming into being.
So they looked at.
State.
Okay, cool. So, cause see, this is what I noticed is real quick because I got Lex in here too. I got also Mikael Ben Israel in here. Now here's the thing. Now this is the problem that we have with these brothers that deal with the language. They deal with y'all deal with the language, right? Now what we're finding out is, and this is why we have to go over to Budge them and different people. Because y'all don't give the entirety of the story. Like right now, you danced around and you beat it around the bushes instead of really giving the entirety.
Well, I already explained why. I gave an explanation of why because it's so broad. Even you don't have it. That's why you're asking me the question.
It's not that
But what
broad.
I'm saying is that in general context, depending how the word is used, again, when we translate, words, depending in context, how it's used, what type of function that it has within a context. So that's not dancing around. That's grammar of the Egyptian language. That's not dancing. That's scientific. That's grammar. Within a word, words can mean different.
Well, let me take a couple of shots because now I see it's beating around the bush. Let me take some shots, and then I'm gonna let you go in, Lex, because I know you want to get it in. But let me say this real quick.
Now, they don't have Lex coming here all rude. We not on here yelling, screaming.
No. Yeah, Lex, don't.
You can't do that.
Make sure you just
keep
it
can't
forward.
do that, right? Then I don't need. I don't need to be on the phone with him, and my man don't need to be on the phone.
You're right.
All right, you know that we ain't doing that. Yeah.
All right, cool. I agree.
But brother, did you understand? Hey, brother, did you understand my point when translators translate? It depends on the context of what we translated. So you will have to come with to properly answer your question. That inscription that you're seeing, you will have to say, okay, this is the inscription, and this is where it's housed. So we can either go there or we can go and retrieve the inscription. And once we retrieve the inscription, we do scientific, methodology into reading the glyphs, which is grammar. So we will read how the KhepeRa beetle is used in that context, and we will tell you. So that's what I'm saying is that, we can't speak of a subject depending on and do guesswork. You can't say, well, I seen KhepeRa over here. What does it mean? That's not how it works. We got to get the inscription. After we get the inscription, we will properly translate the inscription. After we properly translate the inscription, we will give you the correct meaning of KhepeRa within that context. So I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, I
would have to
understand
the Hebrew.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah,
I understand. Yeah, you're right. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I still see you dancing because you know the entirety of it. But see you dancing though, but that's cool because I'm finna shoot straight to the point now. Because you're gonna dance, so I'm gonna shoot straight to the point. Now here's the thing. Now,
He's funny.
Yeah, you dancing. You
dancing.
Scientifically,
I might be missing something. What does dancing mean?
You said, okay. Let me say this. You said, hold on, brother.
Yes.
You said transformation, right? From changing from one thing to another. Let me ask you this about the. Hold on, brother. Let me ask you this. Hold on. Let me ask you this. When you talk about the dung being transformed, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, he said one of the meanings, though. You can't be stuck on that.
Sir.
Now, I want to elaborate. Okay, that's cool. You said from changing from one thing to another. That's what you said.
Sir, you just said you said let's go back to Budge. If you go to Budge Dictionary and look up KhepeRa, because you mentioned that source, so I'm very familiar with the source you mentioned. So you mentioned Budge. If we can go right now to your dictionary of Budge, you will read different meanings in how it is written in context of that word. So if you can get your Budge book now, so you can read it, so the audience can understand that dancing, you have to imply something scientific, because I haven't given you nothing.
Well, hold on, brother. You just said that.
What I'm saying is that if you go to Budge, you can go there yourself. We don't got to keep wasting time. Time is money. So we don't got to keep wasting time. So go to Budge now and go ahead and read the listings to the meaning, sir, because you referred to Budge, so go ahead and do that.
Well, hold on. You just said, okay.
Get the Budge out. Hey, but no. See, sir, I don't got time to argue with you.
All right, that's
something
cool.
I'm explaining 100 times,
brother. All right, hold on.
Right? So we can go to the source that you went to.
Hold on. That's cool.
And he's going to read out the different definitions to what I'm stating.
Hey, listen. Respect the panel, bruh. Respect the panel. If I'm talking, bruh, can you please not try to overtalk me? Just respect the panel, just like we just said. If Lex don't respect the panel, you gonna respect it too, bruh. Now, grab your Budge. I'm driving. I can't grab it since you want to grab it. But let me say this real quick. You talked about
now I see why you're not in the office or anything.
You said in the hold on. All right, bro. This is
you want in the office.
Ron, let me say something real quick, man.
Go ahead, brother.
KhepeRa has nothing to do with changing from one form to another, right? This is even a basic.
Lex, can you read
hold on a second. See, he just said he didn't want to.
Hold on, let the brother talk.
No,
let the brother talk. Let the brother talk, man.
So check it out.
Well, you should qualify himself first, though.
If you should, I don't need to qualify.
Hold on. Let him talk. Let him talk, man.
Okay.
Let me give my the word KhepeRa. If you study any Egyptian.
Hold on, man. Listen, y'all not finna get. Hold on, hey, this brother not finna get on here, man, and be trying to dominate the show, man. Keep talking, man.
No, I'm just asking you.
Go ahead.
Don't you want to know if we can read it or not?
So if you basically you look up any basic Egyptian philosophy, you can check out even Wudjau and Neter-neb or any. It's not really much difference. The word KhepeRa, this basic meaning, is associated with life and rebirth. And literally, it would translate into something like he who is coming into being. All right? And so when the Egyptians observed KhepeRa, just like you were saying, they observed it, observing the dung beetle, moving the dung ball into a hole, right? And then later, out of the hole, the babies would come up fully formed. This was another representation of the sun from life, death, and rebirth. Now, you can check this out even in the papyrus of Annie, right? It'll say, I came into being of myself in the midst of the primeval waters of noon, and this my name is KhepeRa. All right? So in the early Egyptian history, it came to represent the soul rising, all right, from death and being resurrected, or like some transcendent form ready to make his journey and face his judgment in order to live in the afterlife, all right? And by the new kingdom, you'll see this in the funerary text from the papyri when it's portrayed as a scarab, and it becomes like the most powerful symbol of life's victory over death. So the sun rolling like a huge ball through the sky, that's what it's compared to. Then it rolled through the underworld to the eastern horizon. And so it was representative of the sun being renewed, that it can give life to the world in a sense. And it was associated with resurrection. So And it was also in some of the texts, KhepeRa was believed to be swallowed by moon or newt each evening, and it passed through a body to be reborn each morning. So, and honestly, it's just another form of a sun. He was also linked to Ra and Atum. In some funerary texts, KhepeRa is combined with Atum into a ram-headed beetle. And this is a portrayal of the supreme God overseeing the cycle of life and death. So when they try to say, that's what I mean when you try to use the word transform, and like when you try to point out earlier when you said transforming from one thing to another, it has nothing to do with transforming from one thing to another. It's more rebirth, life, and death, just like the dung beetle. It's recycling itself in that hole. It is not turning into anything else. It's actually just renewing itself and coming back to life again. This is symbolic of the sun and also symbolic of the soul's travel through the underworld for judgment and to come back to life. That's it.
You're incorrect. Now, hold on. Okay, all right, that's cool. Well, hold on, real quick. Let me say this, brother, before you speak out. Let me say this. Now, as y'all can see, this brother danced around. Now, this brother Lex came with what I got up out of it when you talk about the pappers of Ani. Now, this brother coming with something different with his own interpretation on something. But go ahead, you can go now, bruh, because that's what you just did, bruh. And that's why we don't like going to you brothers, man, because you brothers do this all the time. But go ahead, though.
Is this the brother in a car speaking? That's you?
Yeah, bro. Go ahead, man. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wanted to just make sure that if you was in a car or office, because if you mentioned Budge as a source, so I referred you to your own source. You look up KhepeRa and see different meanings. The brother speaking about.
I got it.
I
got it too.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and list it. Well, first we can go ahead and let Baba list different meanings. Within
all right, we got about
his source that he mentioned. So go ahead, brother.
I'm looking at about 30 different words. 30 different meanings of KhepeRa right here, and I think what the brother Neter-neb is trying to show you is you might have seen a papyrus, and it might have just meant what you said it just meant. The same with Lex. Hold on. So it's the same with Lex, right? Lex might have, what he read, he could have been correct, right? The problem with Lex and the problem with you, neither one of y'all read Meta-Lecture. Y'all just don't. And then y'all get a little borderline disrespectful saying we dancing, and I'm trying to say that I'm trying to learn this shit, and I'm trying to tell you it ain't as straight like y'all want it to be. It's not one of them type of things. Like one word can mean a multiple.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He's talking about KhepeRa.
He's talking about somebody needs to mute their mic. They got something back.
He's talking about KhepeRa in a different meaning.
Right. Correct. So I'm just trying to show
why did the brother, we talk about
listen, hold on, brother. Transformation. You said
hold on. He said from an aspect of transformation. Now, from that aspect of transformation, from one thing changing to another, what are you talking about, bro? And where is that at?
Well, when I'm standing
where's
with transformation, it's
in the dictionary.
Because I'm not going to argue and stuff, bro. I've got better time. I'm going to just say my piece, whether you agree with it or not. And, I'm saying my piece from a translator point of view. When I use the word KhepeRa, I have admitted that I have not reviewed in-depth KhepeRa text. So I'm a scientist. I'm not going to say that I know everything about KhepeRa, which I don't. So, I was honest and scientific about this truth right there. But what I'm saying is that
you say you were scientist.
Listen, brother. I've seen KhepeRa used in our class in translations from the Berlin Museum. So we translate pieces of inscription. And I have seen the word KhepeRa used in a Meta-Lecture sentence to represent something that's coming into being, something of transformation. Either it could be transforming from another state to another. That's what I'm stating. When I'm saying transformation, I never said transform it to a whole total different something else. I'm using it in the context of which it's in. So he mentioned budge as a source. So budge is a good source that we use in a lot of other sources. So when you use budge, you see that I'm correct in that it has different meanings depending on context. I never disagreed that the brother's observation, his observation is incorrect. But I will have to see that to translate it myself to tell you accurately how KhepeRa is used in an inscription, and most likely art in Neter-neb comes with an inscription with it for us to determine what it means. So that's how I'm telling you this. I'm not going to give you just one definite answer.
Well, hold on for a minute.
Don't exist in Neter-neb.
Well, hold on, bro. I asked you about the son aspect. Now, why did this brother Lex have to come on and give me what you should have gave me? And I was about to give you that.
I gave you. I already said that. I said it can mean a representation of the son. He explained everything.
But he gave me the full. Hold on, you gave me a vague. You gave
brother,
me
I want you to point,
bro.
Can I ask you, brother? Did his observation, did that have anything to do with coming into another state of being? Can you agree with that?
No.
Hello?
You said. No. I don't agree with that. I'm trying to figure out where did you get that from?
All right. That's why I said when you go to Bud, listen, brother. That's why I say when you go to Bud, it can have different meanings depending on context. You get what I'm telling you that when the Bible reads this list of KhepeRa, it has different meanings depending on context. I told you I use that in a class in the English theology.
Let me say this real quick.
Or coming into being. I don't understand how you don't get that.
Man,
why are we still on that?
This brother said, hold on, bro. You said from one thing changing from one state to the next. Show me that, bro. And what text is you talking about?
Hey, can I speak? Can I speak real quick?
Hey, Baba, listen. Can you read the list so we can end this? I mean, I don't got time. This is ludicrous. Go ahead and read the list.
Go ahead, Wudjau. You want to say something, Wudjau?
Yeah, the brother asked what text it's in. It's in the book of Knowing the Transformations of Ra and Overthrowing of a Pep. It's right there in the first sentence right there. The entire text tells you the transformations of Ra, what Ra transforms into. So I don't understand. I don't understand what the argument is about because the word
hold on.
LeRon, that text right is not talking about Ra transforming into anything else but another aspect of Ra. KhepeRa is the morning sun.
No, it's not.
It's the morning sun. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Lex. Who is that? Is that Lex?
Yeah, that's Lex.
Yeah.
Okay,
Lex, you're wrong.
What does it say?
Lex, you're wrong.
Wudjau, what does the text say? Okay, Wudjau, read the text then. You say you got it, read it.
Pull it up.
No, I'm saying. You asked
just
for the
look
text.
at the beetle itself for an example, right? When they come out of the hole, the transformation happened when he rolled the dung. When they come out of the hole, they come out as dung beetles. They don't come out as another form. It's like death and resurrection. So he went in, and he's creating something out of nothing. This is still going back to a self-creating God, bringing life out of that cycle.
And also intelligence, because that's what it's dealing with. You got a dumb beetle. Hold on. You got.
Why aren't you showing intelligence, yo? I could have sworn we said when you're dealing with the complex Egyptian language, there are a lot of different forms. Like KhepeRa also means the young sun. I got it right here. It says it.
I just said he's the morning sun.
Yeah, but wait a minute. But Lex, come on, Lex. See, yo, I know you totally dislike us. And that's cool.
Why? Why are you getting mad at me? I haven't said nothing disrespectful to you, bro.
Listen, you didn't say disrespectful. I'm saying you don't like me to the point where you
Baba just gave
it say KhepeRa right here, the name of the spring sun. It's right here. KhepeRa. So now are we just to be just crazy and be stuck, and every time we see the word act like a bunch of white boys and say that means spring sun like a bunch of idiots? Or are we to be
you can make the connection, right?
Listen, we don't need to
you're saying
we don't need to make a connection. The Neter-neb itself, it shows you what it means. The brother said in context. He said it over and over again. So you were absolutely right in what you said. So right? He was absolutely right in what he said.
You can bring that to the different aspects. So but it doesn't really change. So, instance, you could say he's the morning sun, or you could say it's the soul rebirth. You know what I'm saying? Because it's also related to the soul. So never will you say that it's the transformation is into something like a different being or a different. You know what I'm saying? It's still related to the soul and the sun and what's happening in the dung meal. So you
but listen.
So
this is the problem. Hold up. Listen, I would like to get the mic. Just let me know. Just let me know when I can talk.
All right. So this is what I want to ask you real quick. So when you read the transformations in Ra, and you're saying,
I'm gonna get it right now.
I want you to show us where this is transforming into a different being, or is it different states of the same soul? So, like, because the soul, the transformation, the life and resurrection is in stages, just like the sun in the morning, the sun at high noon, and the sun at evening. So this is the sun in different stages. So that's a transformation. But it sounds like you guys are trying to imply that it's representing a transformation into a different form, like a different being.
What are you talking about?
This is talking about life.
I just want to know when I wait.
All right. So this is what I'm saying is this is talking about. This is basically talking about. It's still resurrection, life, it's death, burial, and reresurrection. That's it.
So
hey, peace, y'all. What's going on?
The black people are dumb.
What's going on?
No, I didn't say that. Now, how do you come up with that? Now, I didn't say anything like that. I'm saying.
Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why you're saying that? Because I just spent a half an hour deeply sourced out material clearly showing you that modern science understands evolution through studying dung beetles. But the niggas in the Nile Valley, these niggas just suck. These niggas
No. What I heard you saying that, Unc, and I'm not. That's a good thing.
I'm wrong.
You said, hold on.
Crazy?
All right, let me just comment on that. You said they study and they got 300,000 different species of dung beetles, right? And so they're looking at that and they're gathering information. So where in that what did the dung beetles turn into?
I can't fight y'all fight for y'all.
Hold on.
Wait. I'm trying to listen. I mean, I'm just trying to wait till the brother, because y'all. The thing is that I gave the I don't know who asked it first, but somebody asked for the text where it talks about transformation.
I'm trying to find it for you. Yep.
No, I mean I have it.
Oh,
I have it. It's all good.
Okay, can you read that to us, brother?
All right. First, let me explain something though, because the thing is that in Kemet and in a lot of African traditions, existence, everything that comes into existence is still part of an infinite and eternal substance. What happens is these things differentiate, like this eternal and infinite substance differentiates to becomes. Wait a minute. Now don't listen. I listen to
Hold on. Let him go. Let him go.
Right.
Let him go.
I'm trying to give you a backdrop. If you're trying to learn, okay? Because I already know you don't read the text. You don't read.
Well, that's called commentary.
Okay, but wait a minute. I'm going to listen. I'm going to read. No, I'm giving you a backdrop because this is just one text, and I'm not going to read the whole text to you. All right. So I'm giving you some backdrop. So just allow me to do that real quick. What I'm saying is that because these texts don't come out of thin air, they come out of the cultural nuances of the people. So I'm trying to let you know that elsewhere as well, in Africa and in Kemet, in a lot of texts, that existence comes about from based on a differentiation of an eternal and infinite substance. What happens is that this eternal and infinite substance differentiates of itself and becomes the things in and as the world itself. So this text is explaining this process, okay? And this is the book. The book is called The Book of Knowing the Transformations of Ra and Overthrowing of Apep. And that's the first line in the book that tells you what the name of it is and everything. And I'll just read it to you. It says, "Thus spoke Neber-Cher," which means Lord to the limit, which means all of existence. It says that he said, "I came into being as the existent, first to come into being, having come into being as what exists, I then was. that was how existence came into being. For I was before the ancient deities, my creation. Before they were, I was. My name preceded theirs, for I created antiquity and the ancient deities. I made all that I desired in this world, and I spread over it. I reached out my hand by myself before they were born. Before I spat out Shu and Tefnut, I used my own mouth, and magic was my name. It was I who came into being in the manner of being, taking on existence as what exists. Thus I came into existence in the primal time. After that beginning, a host of ways of being came into existence. There was no mode of existence whatsoever in the world. All that I did, I accomplished alone, before any other being came into existence, to create along beside me in these places. Therefore, I created the modes of being with the energy in me. There I created in noon, while still drowsy, while I had yet to find any ground to stand on which to stand upright. But then my heart was filled with energy. The design of creation appeared before me, and I accomplished everything I wanted to do, being alone. Conceiving designs in my heart, I created a different mode of existence, and the multitudinous ways of being were born of the existence. And I'm going to stop right there. That is everything that I just read. Huh? Everything that I just read.
To me.
Hold on. Let him go. Go ahead.
Everything that I just said backs up what I'm saying. That entire piece I just read right there, and that's only a portion. That entire piece is telling you
where does that come from? Where does that piece come from you just read? What text is that?
I told you it's called The Book of Transformations of Ra and Overthrowing of a Pep. That's the name of the text.
Where did they find that? Hold on. Where did they find that at in Egypt? Where did they find that at?
What you mean? The actual
Can
primary
we find it
text?
On the pyramid text, your primary text, pyramid text. Where is that quote at?
No. It's you can look it up. I'm telling you the word. Write it down so you can look it up because we're on the phone right now.
I don't see how that. Wait.
Hey,
bro. Hold on.
A question in regards to that, and I'm kind of familiar with the story about the overthrowing of Apep, and it came from my studies when I was actually studying dragons in ancient folklore in ancient times. And isn't it true that Ra actually rode a boat, which actually went into the underworld or the dark waters of the Tuat? And when he goes underwater, the legend goes that he is accompanied by other gods that appears mid-deck and in the back of his boat. And the other gods actually slay, chain, and subdue the dragon Apep so that Ra can be strong enough to arrive back on the other side of the earth. Isn't that the story or the myth behind it?
Well, you're talking about a different document, and it's not a dragon. Apep is a snake, and when he goes to the Amduat or the Duat, it goes through 12 gates, which are the 12 hours of the Amduat, to emerge victorious on the next day. That's what you're talking about. That's
well,
completely different.
Hold on.
Right, so...
Hold on, real quick, Kevin. Let me ask this brother this, man. The text you just read with Wudjau, where can we find that primary in Egypt?
I gave you the name, because we're on the phone right now. I gave you the name. So, I mean, I don't know what else you would want from me.
Hold on, Wudjau. Now listen, here's the problem, bro. You just read to me somebody's commentary. Now I'm asking you.
No, wait, hold up. You don't know. Wait. I didn't read nobody's commentary. Listen.
No, Laurent, that is an existing. That's an existing text.
Wait, Laurent. Hold up. Wait, hold up, Laurent. Let's not assume. All right, let's be civil. Hold up. There's a lot of noise in the background. Laurent, I read the Neter-neb. I gave you my translation. Okay. So I'm not giving you any commentary. What I did was I set a backdrop so you can understand. I gave you the name of the text.
Is that in the pyramid text, coffin text? Where's it at?
Okay, listen, no. Right now it's in the British Museum. Right now it's in the British Museum. You can go to the British Museum website. It's called Remnant Rhyme. Wait.
It's not a hard.
I gave you the name about 3 times. I said the book of overthrow of transformations of Ra and overthrowing of Apep.
Okay, what he's trying to find out.
Okay, so write that down. Write that down. So and if you want to know where if you want to know where it is today, it's in the British Museum. Okay,
well,
so if you want to know
an important aspect of what he just read, Ron. You heard he's reading about an eternal God that created everything, and even said that he set the design for. So even
intelligence, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? That does not have nothing to do with KhepeRa representing some blind evolution. That is still
wait.
What if okay?
Wait a minute, fellas. Are y'all serious though?
Hold up.
Go ahead,
he can read it again when he said he set the design forth. He created all things. It's coming forth from him, from his mind.
Lex.
Go ahead, Lex. Hold on.
No.
Go ahead, Go ahead. Go ahead,
Ra becomes the thing.
Do you know what he just read? I'm going to make it real simple for the people listening, because that's what I do have the ability to do, is make shit simple. He was talking about one thing and how that one thing transforms into a lot of different things. Guess what? That's all evolution is, no matter what y'all say. Now, I told y'all...
No, that's not all evolution is. Don't do that.
You cut me off, brother.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let him go. Let him go. We got time. We got time.
Listen, evolution is simply why life on Earth is so diverse and why everything shares in common ancestry, why everything shares in DNA. Now, y'all can go fight the niggas that's in the labs over the rest of that, but y'all know basically that's all it is. That's it.
Okay, so
let me say this real quick.
It's not all it is because, LaRon, hold on, watch this, LaRon. That's not all it is, because when you're dealing with evolutionary biology, first of all, you're talking about natural selection, you're talking about speciation, right?
Lex, hold on. Let him finish. Lex. Let him finish.
Okay, all right.
Lex, now you're starting to add in. Now you're adding in the things that help push evolution. Okay, that's a different conversation. I was simply saying that evolution seeks to explain why life on Earth is so diverse and why everything has a common ancestor. Why does everything extend from the same thing and how that occurred? That's it. He just read the shit to you.
And he read it, and what he's reading is that the common ancestor of all is the person that he, hold on, listen, what he's reading.
Cool.
Wait a minute, bro. What he just read.
Go ahead. Let him.
Hold on, bro. Slow down. What he just read.
Slow down, bro. I'm trying
the reason why the source that one thing is coming from is a creator. And this is the common ancestor. So, listen. So here's what they try to do. They try to say that.
No. Hold on,
bro. I mean, guys, let me know when I can finish speaking. Go ahead.
Hold on. Go ahead. When you gonna be done? So we can go ahead and get it in.
It says right here.
Okay, go to the text
that the creator is KhepeRa. That's what it says the creator is in this particular text. It exactly says that. Man, okay. You know what, dude?
Wait. I just want to say something.
Right, so listen.
Hold on.
Listen, LaRon, I don't want y'all to miss this.
And then go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So don't miss the vital point. So whether it says KhepeRa, whether it says what, these are all different forms of the same creator. So the bottom line is this, that it's saying that all of this, just like even in quantum mechanics, they agree that all things is coming from this one substance, you know what I'm saying, or consciousness. In so-called religious teaching, they're teaching that everything is emanating from the creator. In these Egyptian texts, it's still talking about something emanating from the creator. So this is the common source of all things being created. If you want to say, well, that's why everything's connected, and that's why I always give the example of a programmer. If I program 99 different programs using the same programming language, you're going to see similarities in those programs. The common ancestor is me, because I'm using that's just like DNA. That's why all things are connected, because they're all using the same program. But see, what they try to do is play with the definition of evolution. Well, we're just saying evolution means change. No, because when it comes to evolutionary biology, they have a specific set of processes that they try to say this is how it happens. And part of that process is they're saying they're not saying KhepeRa in that process. They're saying that this is random blind chance over time that just happens through speciation. And therefore, at some point, right, let me explain y'all what speciation is. At some point, the dung beetle, with all its variations, eventually is going to become something that's not a dung beetle anymore. All right, through what's called speciation. So that means when he mentions there's 300,000 different species of dung beetles, these are all changes in the DNA. So one of them might have a red dot on his head, and there's 300 different species of it. At some point in time, there's going to be so many changes that you can't even recognize it as a dung beetle anymore. Matter of fact, it can't even go back and procreate with the original dung beetle. It's something totally different now. So when they try to say, well, evolution just means change, no, it don't. And that's the case. No one can argue with evolution because you changed. 10 years from now, LeBron, your doctrine is going to change. You might have different. That's evolution. If we want you see that, you can't play that game. We know the processes that they're pushing today in science. Evolution just doesn't mean change. It means natural selection. It means speciation. It means change over millions and millions of years.
Slow down.
All of this happened without design.
All right, Lex.
All right, that's enough. Let me say.
How does that change? Hold on. How does that change the conversation about beetles? Because that's the name of the show, Beetles. So the question is this: does the Nile Valley African get an understanding of its natural world through studying fucking dung beetles? Yes, it does. Did Darwin get an understanding of his natural world by studying dung beetles? Yes, he did. Stop it.
No, he started off with studying those birds.
No,
with the beaks.
man. You didn't even listen to the whole show, Lex. You should have been on the show early, bro. You late.
Hey, I want to get next.
Hold on. Hey, LeBron, can you please tell them niggas to hit the rewind button and listen to the beginning of the show, please? Because this is foolery. Seriously, straight tomfoolery.
Hey,
Tell me what I said was foolish.
I've been on here since
go ahead with Wudjau. Go ahead with Wudjau.
Okay, I just want to say something. I came into the conversation late, so I don't know the actual specific point of contention between what's being said. But what I'm hearing is that there's a lack of understanding on the part of Lex, from what I'm hearing, about the concept in Kemet about the story what I just read, because this is the thing, that everything that in Africa, period, proper, or Kemet specific, that nothing exists outside of existence. In other words, the creator, well, we would say the word creator, the creator and that which is created is the same thing. There's no, the creator does not perform like how in the Abrahamic traditions where God does this and does that, but then God goes off in heaven somewhere, wherever. I'm not saying you said it. I'm just showing you a contrast. Yeah,
but there is no contrast there. There's no contrast there because
wait a minute. Let me just say what I'm saying. I'm not saying you said it. I'm saying there's a contrast because in the Abrahamic follower, in a person who follows Abrahamic traditions, God is separate from God's creation.
Wait. Why are you talking about Abraham, though? Nobody said nothing about Abraham.
Okay, wait, hold up. All right, then, hold up. Wait, hold up, because I don't want to go off on a tangent. Scratch the word Abraham. Forget. Let's rewind. Forget I said Abraham. I'm only saying Abrahamic. I'm not mentioning Abraham as a man. I'm saying the Abrahamic tradition. So let me scratch that and say Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Let me just say that then. The people who follow Judaism.
We're not talking about that.
Well, hold up, LeRon. You don't even got to go there. You know why? Because what he's saying is not true
for
all people who believe in those traditions. So that's not
okay.
fair.
I'm not talking about every single person on the planet who believes in those things. That's what I'm saying. See, that's why I'm saying. Let me just finish what I'm saying. Then you can nitpick.
Go ahead,
okay?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, Wudjau,
the point,
his personal God. That's it.
The point I'm making though is that everything that exists is part of an eternal and infinite substance, and the only reason why different things come into being is because this eternal and infinite substance differentiates of itself, and that's what that story is explaining. And it uses the word KhepeRa. I could count how many in the small piece that I read. The word KhepeRa is used so many times within that piece I just read. Different forms of KhepeRa, and the reason why is because people look at the imagery in Kemet of the beetle, and they'll say that the beetle is pushing the sun, and that's false, because the dung beetle does not push with its front paws and his mouth.
We know that.
The beetle pushes with his back. Exactly. So the imagery is not talking about. Hold on. I'm not saying you don't know. I'm just explaining to drive a point. I'm saying the imagery is talking about coming into being from an internal and infinite substance. That's what it's all about. So
right.
I don't understand
let me ask you this. Hold
on, Lex. I don't know what the argument is. Let me speak, because I ain't said nothing. Hold on. Listen, y'all. Listen, I ain't saying nothing. I've been letting y'all brothers talk. So let me let y'all. Go ahead. Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. Now hold on. Now one thing we noticed something about this dung beetle. We got to focus on this dung beetle. We got to focus on what he's pushing. Now, the second thing, we see this dung beetle, he's pushing and he's forming this dung, right? So we see that he himself is intelligent that is forming this dung. That's the first thing. So he's taking this dung, which is a material, a substance, and forming this dung. And once he forms this dung, rather he pushes it with his back legs, and he pushes it, and if he can't see where he's navigating, he gets on top of the dung, and he looks at what they call, so to speak, the sun, or he's dealing with navigation by the Milky Way. Now, what we must look at, this is intelligence here that's forming this dung. So the whole thing we're missing is that he's forming something, which is the dung. Now, when he takes the dung, him and his mate that he's dealing with, they both take that dung and it goes down into the ground. When it goes down into the ground, it's hidden just as if the sun is when it goes into the Amduat or to the underworld,
yes,
symbolically or figuratively speaking, right?
That's the story of a pet.
Now watch this. Now the the beetle and the woman, they bring that child, or she plants her seed into existence inside of that dung, which is a sustainer, as the sun is a sustainer of, guess what, men, of humans, right, and all life that's on earth. Just as we see that sun is a sustainer, that dung is a sustainer of that beetle and cause rebirth and life to come forth from that for the beetle. So that's what we're seeing. Now this brother Wudjau, the other brother you brought on here, hold on, and the other brother you brought.
You say y'all trying to be funny, man.
Is y'all trying to be funny?
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to let him finish because I want to say something to that.
Let me speak. Now listen. Now what we see here, we see intelligence. Hold on. All right, that's cool. Cool. What we see here, we see intelligent design. We see this dung beetle, and what he's doing. Hold on. Listen. What he's doing, he's taking his back legs and he's forming this sun, right? Or this dung. He's forming this dung. So right then and there, it's telling you that you can't get no, like we say, the origin of species by natural selection. We see an origin what this dung beetle is doing, and it's intelligence is behind it. I think it's.
Hey, hold up.
Not only that, right? Now the story. Hold on. The story he read, right? The being is talking, right? He said that he existed before anything existed. It existed. Now they're saying, well, he just is, differentiated. Everything is coming out of him, but the being is telling you that I'm here before anything existed. So the being is setting this stuff in motion. And then it said he had a design in mind that came up out of
he said
him.
he always was. He said he always was.
Yeah, he always was.
Okay, let me just. I want to respond to what. Hold up. I want to respond to what LaRon was saying.
I just want to say
I want to respond to what LaRon was saying.
That lets you know that when you're talking about just blind, because listen, when my thing is, when you say, well, this is all evolution is. If you go to the top evolutionary biologists like Richard Dawkins, he's saying that the whole thing about evolution is this.
Real quick, Lex. Real quick. Hold on. Let's let Kevin get in here because he's been waiting patiently. Let's let him get in here.
Wait, I wanted to respond to what you said, though, LaRon.
Okay, all right. We're gonna let you respond. Just hold that. Go ahead, Kevin.
All right.
Man, I've been on here since the beginning. I ain't said one word.
Did you do research?
Hold on.
Did you confirm? Did you do research and did you confirm that was the understanding of the dung beetle, that it represented that symbology of taking something that's immortal and putting the dung into the ground, and then some change is going on the ground? The same way they look at the story as far as Ra going into the underworld, the Duat, or the waters are coming up. Now, what's interesting about that concept?
Wait, hold on. Wait. Kevin, what I told you before, you're mixing two different stories. Ra is not pushed into the ground.
Let him finish though, bro. Hold on. Let him finish, and you can bring that out. Let that brother finish.
Okay. All right. So I got. All right. I'm sorry. I got two responses. One to you, LaRon, and one to you, Kevin. All right. Go ahead.
All right. Go ahead.
So the theme you guys were talking about Ra going into the underworld or this Duat. It's spelled, and I'm going to make sure I'm referring to the same thing LaRon is referring to, is Tuat, correct?
Is what?
Which is a long, narrow valley that flows like a river, correct?
Yeah, the Duat, the underworld. Go ahead, yeah.
Right. Okay. So the theme is that the dung beetle is taking this dung that it rolled up, is putting it underground, and then there's a change that takes place. The dung beetle representing that which is infinite or immortal. Is that correct?
You're asking questions. I'm telling you, no. The dung beetle does not. Wait. Hold on, just real quick. I won't be long at all. I just want to say that you're mixing an actual what a dung beetle actually does versus what the stories are saying and what the imagery is in the stories. So I just want to let you point that out.
Let me ask you
because because in the stories and in the imagery, the dung beetle does not push the sun in the dirt.
Okay, that's
all
fine.
right, so I just want to let you know that. Just show me a picture. Show me a picture where the dung beetle is pushing the sun in Duat. Show me that.
That was not my claim. What I'm doing, I'm questioning what was said so that I can make my point. So since you said that, why don't you take a minute?
Hold on, real quick.
That wasn't the claim that I made.
Hold on, Kevin, real quick. The beetle itself is considered to be the sun that's going into the dirt. Let's not play games with y'all.
All right,
go ahead. No. Listen. Right. The beetle in the stories, the beetle is not going in the earth. Okay. Period. Show me one picture where there's a beetle going in the earth.
Oh, man.
The beetle is the deity, man. That's why.
KhepeRa No. I'm saying, but go ahead, Kevin. I interrupted you. I apologize. I'm gonna respond to you.
So let me ask you just a simple question so I can get this straight. What is the beetle representative of in relation to Ra?
It depends on the context, like the brother Neter-neb said in the story that I read.
Okay, well, in the context we dealing with, what does it represent, man? Let's go ahead.
Man.
Come on, yeah.
Okay.
Give it to me in the context with the passage you read.
Right. The beetle is used as a paronymy and metaphor because the word KhepeRa, the word itself, KhepeRa means come into being, is used. The beetle is used to write that word. That's the symbol that's used to write that word. Come into being, existence itself, and all that kind of stuff. So the KhepeRa is prevalent in the text, but the actual go ahead.
All right. So KhepeRa, this essence or this KhepeRa, is this something that, according to the Egyptian mythos, is this something that is eternal?
No, KhepeRa is describing the function in existence of how things come into existence. It's actually like a description of a function that takes place.
So what is
it's like an action.
So what image or what character in this theme represents the eternal that you just read before? What was it that you were describing that was immortal or eternal? Because you stated several times earlier that which we see or that where everything came from an eternal source. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me what that eternal source was in relation to the myth that you read or this passage that you read, that you translated?
In the passage that I read, the infinite and eternal substance is called Nu, from the word Nini, which means infinite potential. So it's Nun. A lot of people say Nun or Nu.
Okay, and it's from this eternal substance or this Nu, which the design came from. Is that correct?
No.
No, he created Nun.
No, he didn't create Nun.
Okay, no. I didn't ask if he created Nun. I'm asking, is Nun the source?
No, I know. I don't know if you heard somebody else had said that, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you,
Go ahead.
You said Nun is the eternal, correct?
This infinite and eternal substance, that's correct.
Okay, so somebody created that?
Metaphorically described as water, but go ahead.
Okay, right, but did someone create that?
No.
Okay, so okay, very good. So from this eternity came what? What came out of this eternity? You mentioned a design. Where was the origin of the design in relation to that Nu?
Existence itself comes out of this process.
Okay. All right, very good. So I think it does deal with some of the myths that LaRon was reading, and also the story of Ra when he contends, when he goes under the water or the duat and comes out. It seems like it's it's the same type common theme, but when you look at it logically, right? When you think you say it representative of evolution and non-intelligence, that will be illogical because anything that's eternal has no event and no time logically. So therefore, there is no event, there is no time, there is no evolution with that which is eternal. So when we look at our universe and our world today the way it is, there is the second law of thermodynamics, or what we say is all things are beginning to run down, meaning that it had a cause, it had a beginning, it had a source. So even according to the Egyptian myth, I won't even go into my Bible, if we are to say that this, which is running down and is not eternal, came from a source that he is eternal, and we already established logically that which is eternal cannot create or make the event possible for evolution, then the cause had to be personal and intelligent.
Okay, but this is the thing. This is the thing, Kevin. This is the thing.
Hold on, Joe. Well, make him tell the truth. Come on, man. You trying to take it somewhere in the Middle East, bro?
No, hold on. Your man just stated that which came from an eternal source.
Listen.
So if
tell
something is
Wudjau to
eternal,
read that passage again.
If something is eternal and eventless, the only way it can influence or make change. Hold on, bro. Hold on. I'm talking about the origin of all things. If the argument is not where did the origin of all things and all life form came from in diversity, correct?
No, that wasn't. No, that wasn't. No. Evolution
bro, you said that
don't
just
teach,
a few minutes ago.
I did not. Evolution does not teach where anything comes from.
Yes, it does.
Bro,
it does not, man. I don't want to argue with y'all right now, man.
You're talking about rewind the tape. You just said
we're talking about evolution. No, I did not. I clearly said that you could have.
Of a text,
I said you could have
everything emerged from the eternal source.
Brother,
you said
if you so choose to have your thing.
Hold on, bro. You just said that this theme works along with how everything can be from one
your
source.
Middle Eastern intelligent design.
Oh, no. You're not going to.
What I said was evolution seeks to show why life on that is the exact same thing that the Egyptians were trying to show. That
and what was your second point after you said that? What was your second point?
I don't know why listen. You're so hard-headed. You should evolve your game. We're not arguing anymore on that. You can have your little
how everything emerged.
Right, that's why he read what he read.
From a common ancestor.
And then that's why he
And I said the story is saying the exact thing.
Bro, hold on. I read what I read was to clear up the transformation.
Let's all go. Regardless, even if you say the transformation is from something that is eternal, logic has to kick in and say If you're listening, you will understand my point.
I'm listening.
Now, if you look at, hold on, if you look at evolution and what it is, what is this essential? Wait a minute. What is the essential element necessary? Wait a minute. What is the essential element necessary for evolution to take place?
Life.
Time. You need time.
Time.
So from his myth that he read, he's talking about that all this originated from that which is eternal. So when we look at the eternal, wait a minute. If you look at eternity, does eternity contain or does it comprehend time at all? It does not.
No, that's what? How would you know?
Hold on. Let me get to my
point. Hold on. That's false. That's false.
Read, Wudjau. Could you read that again? Can you start from the beginning?
Hold on. I'm trying to deal with
whatever's talking.
What Kevin is saying.
It was here before anything else was, before any existence was, before he had anything to stand on. This thing brought everything into existence.
Right. You know what that means?
So hold up. Wait.
Let's get some order in here. Let's get some order in here. Who speaks? Go ahead, Wudjau. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. There is nothing that exists outside of existence itself, and that's why I gave the backdrop that y'all want to bypass
Read it again.
so quickly.
Read it again.
I gave the backdrop of
no,
the
but could you just read it again?
Just read what you read again. We have time.
Okay, the book of knowing the transformations of Ra and the overthrowing of Apep. Thus spoke the words of Nebuchadnezzar, which is Lord, basically the Lord of the universe. That's how that's how other people translate it, but it means possessor of the limits, the unlimited.
Just read it.
It says. No, I mean, if you're going to dictate how I should read it, then you read it. All right,
but
so let's continue.
Right? If we read it,
exactly. So let me read. Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, Lex. You can't go on.
I'm not saying nothing, bro.
No, that was me.
It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you all asked me to read it, so I'm going to read it. Because at the same time, I'm trying to explain it because obviously the first time wasn't good enough. So it says, after he had came into being, talking about Nebuchadnezzar, all right, saying, it was I who came into being as the creator, KhepeRa. When I came into being, being came into being. Do you understand that statement? Let me stop right there.
We understand that, man. Just read.
Okay, no. I'm asking you because I'm not in your head. So you explain that sentence to me. When it says when I came into being, being came into being. What does that mean?
That mean that shit was always there. I'm going to explain it.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
When it says I came into being, being came into being. Are you saying?
You know what, man?
Translation.
Impossible
That
conversation.
this came from. That all things that are and is and was came from.
Hold on. So Hebrewed out that you have the inability
hold on,
to
man.
see
don't
that you are.
Nobody
Everybody
I just asked.
That's why I said just read it without commentary.
I ain't said one word.
Listen.
Let me just say
Just let him read.
Hold on. Everybody calm. Hey, come on, Kevin. Hold on, bro. Hold on, Kevin. Everybody calm down. Now, we're going to let Mikael go, but let me say this real quick. Now,
why can't you have your religion,
the brother Wudjau
why can't you
just
have your religion in the Bible, yo?
Hold on.
Why can't you
The
just
brother
have that, yo?
Wudjau was saying something, man. The brother Wudjau was saying something, man, that he didn't express it right. And we talked about the dung beetle going into the Amduat. Now you telling me that on the papers of Ani on this solar boat, the dung beetle is not pictured here in the Amduat in the underworld?
You went to a whole different thing. What are you crazy?
Yeah, you went to a totally different thing.
No, that's what we said. You said show. You said hold on, brother. You said show you the dung beetle going into the earth, going into the underworld.
No.
That's what you said.
No. I said show me because see what you were doing when I said that. What you were doing, you were describing a real dung beetle's behavior of rolling the ball and then burying it in the ground, and then you compared it. So I said, show me where a dung beetle was pushing the sun into the amduat or into the duat. That's what I said.
But I said the dung beetle is. I said the dung beetle is pictured as the sun, and that's why when we look at the dung beetle, he's seen in the amduat, in the underworld.
But let sense, bro. Hold on. This is a simple question: does the dung beetle represent the sun?
It depends on the context.
Depends on the context, yo.
All right. So
but go ahead, man. Go ahead, Mikael. Hold on. Go ahead, Mikael. They done, man. This is what y'all get from these brothers, man.
Because listen,
this is why we got to go.
Man, you just being funny.
Hold up. Wait. Hold up. Hold up. For you to say that we're done. I mean, listen. All right. Well, listen. We might as well look. If we're done, if we're not gonna have an intelligent conversation.
Hold on.
And you're just gonna say we're done, then it's no need. There's no need to have a conversation at all.
Around the bush, man. Go ahead.
Oh, with Jared.
Go ahead,
It's done.
Okay.
It's done.
All right, now what with Jared was explaining, what you was explaining.
Why would y'all argue with all that?
Salon Hotep,
yo, do you know, I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm coming
I ain't even saying nothing. I ain't even saying nothing.
I'm talking to you. We talking common shit. I told y'all niggas yesterday that y'all can have y'all Hebrew things. So, and y'all cool with that. Your man, Whisper Common, can have his white boy intelligence design shit, because that's exactly what that is. And no one would argue with that. Christian and
you switching it up, man.
He can have that.
Man, get out of here, man.
We just proved it.
You can't make sense out of nothing you on this line.
Nobody brought in any intelligent argument, man.
Listen, what you can do is,
reading the text is talking about something, creating something, man. Get out of here.
The fact that young beetles.
Hey, y'all, let him go ahead, man. Let him go ahead and finish.
Understand
why?
Nah, man, listen, I'm going to read this. The primal surface.
Hey, can I say what I was going to say, man? And I'll just go back to being quiet.
Let Mikael go, man. Let Mikael go.
I want y'all to know that, though. Y'all did that, though.
Man,
y'all know. Y'all did that.
Hey, I ain't saying nothing the whole show, literally. I've been
we know
quiet.
how long you going to go, so you going to get your chance.
I ain't going to go long. I promise I ain't.
And y'all better call in too, because we got y'all call in because we got 90 seconds for y'all to call in to hear the rest of the show. You know, so let me give y'all the number real quick so y'all can. It's 917-889-2233. 917-889-2233. If y'all want to hear the rest of the show, you're gonna have to call in. Go ahead, Mikael.
Okay, well, Jaru, what you was describing, right? Peace to everybody too. But look, right, what you was describing, I listened to the beginning part, and you was asking everybody, so what is that saying? And it's not what I want to hear, but honestly, the way you said it sounds like I created myself and I created existence itself. So it sounds as though he's saying not only did he create himself, but he created even the very existence, period, what we call existence. And
very
so
good. That's absolutely right. That's how I
right.
took
Okay,
it.
brother.
Now, let me say this. No, I'm just gonna say this one more part, and I'm gonna say this one part, and I'm gonna be quiet again.
And I want to respond to you, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you can respond. And let me say this. Now, as far as going back to the dung beetle, I can't not get around the point that LeBron made. I'm not just G-signing. Listen to how what he's saying though. Now listen to both of y'all's views on it and sciences on it. And the dung beetle, if the dung beetle is pushing dung, to make it real simple like you did, if the dung beetle is pushing dung, then there has to be. You said you didn't have a problem with intelligent design. Now, if the dung would have been pushing the beetle up the hill, then you probably would have had a case for evolution. But what I'm saying is just listening to it, it sounds like it's all back to some form of intelligent design or creation. That's all I was going to say. I ain't going to make no argument.
Just real quick response to what you said. I want to say that you're absolutely correct in what you heard, that what I read, but I want to add that the story is explaining what I gave in the backdrop when I first started talking, that that the creator and existence itself is one and the same. That's basically what you're saying. The word being means existence. Like we say, it's a to be verb in English as is, am, or was, or were. But beingness, to be, beingness itself is existence. And when this being came into being, beingness came into being. So it's a way of trying to express, metaphorically, it's expressing that the creator is existence itself. So therefore, all the different differentiated things that we see, like this cup or this speaker or this computer monitor, all of these things are simply differentiations of the same being, which is existence itself. That's all I was trying to say. And this is eternal and infinite substance in the text is called nu or nun. That's it. So they're describing different functions of how this process takes place. Creation is always ongoing. That's what I was going to say earlier. I forgot who said it, but
I want to respond after this.
Hold up. I think it was Kevin that was talking about time and everything like that. Creation is an eternal event. There is no such thing as created past tense along this thought in the way that this is being explained. Creation is always ongoing because things are always differentiating from other things, and it's an eternal cycle. And this is what was being talked about. So when the metaphor of the sun, Atum, going into the Amduat, meeting up with Usir, and then coming back up, and the beetle is represented in the morning sun because the beetle is not pushing the sun. The beetle is bringing the sun into existence. That's why I said its mouth. The dung beetle forms the dung in a nature habitat, forms the dung with its mouth, and then it puts it into a ball with its claws, and it pushes it with its hind leg. So the ancient Egyptians saw that as a metaphor for coming into being. That's why the beetle or KhepeRa is known as the morning sun, because it's bringing it back into being. So it's describing this cycle that's always going on. So creation is not something that went and is done and then, whatever. It's always ongoing. It's an eternal process.
Right.
As far as, I just say one quick thing. As far as intelligence,
Lex said that earlier, man. Lex said that earlier,
right,
man.
Let me say this real quick.
Hold up. Just real quick. I just want to say, as far as intelligence, though,
go ahead.
See, it depends on how you. Like I said, I wasn't part of the first part of the conversation, but if you all are talking about intelligent design as proclaimed by the intelligent designers and what they say about it, that's one thing. But as far as intelligence itself, I have to ask you all: do you think a molecule is itself intelligent? Like when you see an atom, or let's say an atom of oxygen. An element of oxygen that has the electrons going around and the protons and neutrons in the middle of the nucleus and cell. Do you look at that as oxygen itself, like one element of oxygen? Would you say that is?
Let me answer that. First, he answered his own question earlier, because first of all, when you talk about the thing that came, when it said I came into being and therefore existence itself came into being, the being actually existed before existence. Listen, wait a minute. Listen, yes, sir.
Come on, man. He let you talk with y'all. Let him go, man. Go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, the existence. That's why existence is that. It's eternal. The existence is eternal, but it's only eternal in the cycle, because it goes through death, burial, and resurrection. And so, but it's not disconnected. But the thing that's powering the material universe itself is a state of non-existence. But when it comes into existence, of course, nothing can be disconnected from something, because it is the very source of it. So even when you ask, you yourself said nothing is really separated from that existence. So of course the atom is intelligence, because it's the intelligence of this existence that created the atom and gave it its form and its laws and all of that. So there's an intelligence behind every piece of matter in the universe. But for something to say, when I came into being came into existence. So when you think about this is where when we talk about the Creator and the Abrahamic faith is why, if you want to use that term, he's unfathomable. But even in that, it says the same thing. It says, in him we have our life and being. So it's just like you living in the ocean of existence. So you're not separated from that existence. So that is not, he didn't really say nothing different from what's being said. The point here.
Okay,
let me finish, bro. The point here is that it is a being that brings everything in existence and is starting a process, right? That process is what they're calling evolution, okay? But the process, obviously, is coming from the mind of this Creator who's actually putting in the process. And this is what's causing,
right
this is what...
Human beings are right there, bro.
Why can't you just shut the fuck up when somebody's talking, bro?
I'm just saying, but I didn't cut you, though. Go ahead, Lex.
I would like to respond. I would like to respond, though.
All right, Lex, you done, Lex? Is you done, or what? Is you done, or what you gonna do?
Go ahead, Lex.
Man, I'm done with
I want to respond.
This is a wrap,
all right, go ahead, Wudjau.
Okay, real quick.
Let
Lex,
Wudjau
you're
go
wrong.
ahead and go. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say emphatically, you're wrong. Okay, and that's why I gave the backdrop. Okay, see, I don't do the whatever.
Bro. You don't even know what you read, bro.
Lex, let him go. Let Lex.
Nah, man. How you gonna come off and just tell me I'm
Hold on. Okay, Lex.
Cut all fucking night.
You don't let him go.
You're a clown, dude.
Come on, ain't nobody been cursing. I might have to get you on the phone for her, man, because you started the trip now, man. I'm trying to work with you.
I apologize, Lex, man. Come on.
Okay,
man.
let me just. All right, can I have the floor just for a second? Okay. All right. All right. Number one, Lex is emphatically wrong, and then two, I do know the text. I actually read the text, and Lex doesn't. All right. So I don't know where his claim can come from. All right. But now, what I want to address though is that this is why I gave a backdrop, because we're on a phone conversation. And you know, it's kind of quick. It's like real quick. But if y'all want to learn or something, it's going to take a longer conversation than what the time will allow. So that's why I try to give a little backdrop. But anyway, when I said when I came into being came into being, it didn't say a being. It's talking about beingness, because all of these words is the word KhepeRa itself. If you were to actually look in the language, when it says I came into being, it's talking about when I started to differentiate. This differentiation came into being. In other words, existence itself is a process of differentiation, and it is eternal, and it is always happening. The word happen is the word KhepeRa also. The word existence is the word KhepeRa. The word coming into being is KhepeRa. So all of these things, that's why it says I came into being as KhepeRa. So there's an emphasis on the word KhepeRa all throughout this text, and that's why I said that. That's why I said what I said. So it's not talking about a being. It's talking about being.
Yeah, to be.
Being.
Yeah, but hold on. But bottom line is this, man. Whether you try to, because what you do is you cause confusion, man. But hold on, let me say this, brother. You try to. Hold on. Let me say this real quick, because that's what this brother be doing, man. Like I asked him a lot, but I ain't gonna go there. But let me say this real quick. Hold on, let me say this. Now this brother, man, he went around, him and the other brother, man. They beat around the bush the whole time. And for y'all that's listening in, y'all seen it. And this what we get from these brothers, man.
Wait, what did I beat around?
But hold on. Let me say this, bro. Let me say this. Now listen. Right, either way you want to put it, there is intelligence behind this dung beetle rolling this ball up, man. So hold on. Hold on. Now hold on. Now when you start dealing with, when you start dealing with a force, the force behind this rolling this ball, the force behind this rolling this ball is intelligent. Would you agree to that?
Man, that's something you saying, man. And I can
hold on, listen.
You're lucky I just left out the house. I'm going to show you something.
Wait. Let me. I got to ask you something, LeRon.
Let me make this point.
Just answer the question,
Tomorrow, hold on. Tomorrow, I'll get the article, that modern science is now saying that nature itself is that existence is intelligence.
Oh boy!
Now a whole different thing. They had to realize.
But notice that but hold on. If you're going to say that, notice you leave in your materialistic world. I just want to let you know that.
No, I'm not. No, I just said
you are.
No, come on, man. I said nature itself.
Let him finish. Kevin, let him finish. You got next, Kevin. You got next. Kevin, you got next. You got next. Kevin, you got next. Let him finish, bro.
Kevin,
go ahead.
Yo, I'm cool. Kevin, I'm cool with you going to church, man. Relax. It's 2016. You good. I'm simply telling you.
Lex gonna chop you up. Watch this. Go ahead.
Listen, modern science is simply saying that nature herself is intelligent. And she transforms and delegates and backs and forth and fixes mistakes. Things die out, things come. It's always adjustments going on. This is what science is saying.
All right, can I respond to that real quick?
Hold on, Lex. Let Kevin go. He's
hold on.
Get in.
And I'm just saying that the Nile Valley, right?
Nah, LeBron, I was next.
Without the interworkings, right? Without the deeper interworkings, right? Came to a conclusion that everything was everything. That's all evolution is simply saying. Whether y'all debate over whether it really works, the truth is none of y'all on this phone right now, if y'all all took turns, none of y'all could explain how everything is interconnected without throwing your religion in it. Plain and simple. But go ahead,
I don't have to throw my religion.
You can't either without without throwing your religion.
Society. It was
it
was a mathematician who did a study on urban areas.
Hold on. Now, Kevin. Let Kevin go, man, because he's been quiet. Y'all went twice already. Let Kevin go.
Well, here's what I want to say. I just want to say this is when they come to that conclusion, saying that all of nature is intelligent. They're basically putting away. They're trying to slip out of the door quietly from the materialistic.
All right, whatever.
And trying to slip into the intelligent design.
Right. Let me add to that, Kevin, real quick.
Hey, no, hold on. Let him go. Kevin, hold on, Kevin. Go ahead. The brother couldn't even finish.
Because all evidence that points to a materialistic cause is breaking in front of your faces. And if you want to talk about modern-day science, you cannot find one paper of a self-replicating RNA molecule. The RNA World Series.
You made that up, Kevin.
Hold on now. Come on, man. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. Hold on. Wait, Kevin. Wait. Kevin, wait. Kevin, wait. You can't do that. You can't do that. Let this.
I mute my phone. You're right. I mute my phone out. You're right.
You're not muted. Okay, well listen. Let the brother Kevin go because the audience needs to hear this.
I'm going to mute my phone.
Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. Yeah. So basically what everybody is going towards and what everyone is suggesting now is that everything is moving towards an intelligent cause. There is a mathematician who actually did a study on urban life and basically people just having a job in the economy in general. And what he has found is interesting. We are intelligent beings. We know this. We're self-conscious. We know what we're doing. We have the ability to learn. We have the ability to create. We have all these different types of things. What he found is when people drive into work in the morning at 9 a.m. for their 9 to 5, that's like a heartbeat. The city is like a heart. And all these people are pulled into the city to work. You have municipalities, you have police, you have buses, you have all these different things going on. Then there's a second heartbeat where everybody goes home. This is rush hour. So what this guy has found through math and just observations is that there is a system which acts like the human heart or like a heart which pumps blood in and out. And when you look at the science of it, when blood goes into the heart, it's infused with oxygen or it's oxygenated when people breathe oxygen into their lungs and it goes into the blood. Same thing with us. When we go into the city, we make money. We take the money to what? Our homes, and we generate the economy by buying goods and services. So when we look at that, we're starting to, this mathematician was saying that we're starting to understand that which we think was materialistically caused is actually intelligently caused. And when we observe things such as the economy, we can actually see a biological system guided by intelligence. So that's what it's going now. You saying nature, or they realizing that it's intelligent now. Like I said, say bye-bye to your materialistic thinking because it's going to go out the door. And everybody's going to go towards intelligence.
Hey, you know what's funny? Hey, when it does go out the door, I'll be the first to say that modern science went out the door. But until that day comes,
it's already out the door. You know why? Let me tell you why it's out the door.
I was next, though.
Nature,
hold on,
intelligent, right?
Hold on. Let Wudjau go. Let Wudjau go. You next, Lex. Go ahead, Wudjau.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. Like I said, I wasn't part of the first part of the conversation, and because I never heard you all define what intelligence is, I put forth the question in the form of, would you look at an element of oxygen as intelligence? And the only reason why I asked that is because I haven't heard you all define what intelligence is, and then that's the best way I could ask without just asking it and being open-ended. So I'm asking more specifically as an example.
Before we get to that silly question, let me respond to
Wait, hold up. No. I'm asking LaRon, not you, Lex. LaRon, I'm asking you, either you or Kevin, could you let me know either your definition of intelligence or answer specifically my question so that I'll have a gauge, because I don't know what you all are calling intelligence.
Well, let me say this. Hold on. Let me respond. Let me respond first, Kevin. Intelligence has been defined in many different ways, including one, capacity of logic, abstract thought, understanding, self-awareness, communication, learning, emotional knowledge, memory planning, creativity, and problem solving. It can be described as ability to perceive information and retain it as knowledge, to be applied towards adaptive behavior within an environment. Go ahead.
Yeah, hold up. I heard. Wait.
Pretty much.
Wait, hold up. Hold on one second, Kevin. So, LaRon. I'm okay. I read the dictionary definition, so I'm just trying to understand. Okay, because so let me switch to my specific question then about the oxygen thing. Can you answer that one? Just so I know what's the difference between what you just said versus what I asked.
Me personally, there is no when you talk about inorganic material, and you talk about consciousness, there is no awareness or consciousness in water. It's an inorganic material. It's dead for real. It's not nothing that's living. It's a sustainer. It sustains life.
Okay, so water is not living.
Yeah, so
that's what
it's life though.
I'm just trying to get clarification.
Water is not living. It's a sustainer of life.
Well, I can give you the difference, man, real quick.
Okay, so it's not living. Okay. All right.
We have something.
So wait a minute. So are you trying to find?
So you have to define life or death. You have to define life or death.
No, hold on. Is he talking about the definition of life, or is he talking about the definition of intelligence?
He said intelligence. Can I
I
chime
was asking about intelligence, but it's not.
All
right. Well, go ahead. He asked me and Kevin a question. Let Kevin answer, and then go ahead, Lex.
Okay, so Kevin, let me ask you then, because so I just want to be more specific and just stick to the oxygen thing, the element of oxygen with the electrons that circulates the nucleus and everything like that. Would you call that element intelligent, or the presence of intelligence, or it is intelligent?
The definition of intelligence, just as Laurence put it, will be anything that makes use of information or knowledge or comprehension or skills to create something, to comprehend something, or to interact with something.
No.
What you're talking about is a element that basically is made up on an atomic level or whatever of different properties that allow it to be what it is.
Right.
Now,
I can clarify this quickly.
We're talking about an entity or a person or someone that understands how to utilize skills and elements and resources to create something. For example, if I look at a sand, or if I look at a piece of silicone, or if I look at a piece of cardboard and plastic and metal, these are elements. There is no sign of intelligence in these things. But if I go at the properties on the top of
those are compounds, though.
I can look at what they're made of. But
hold up.
Comes along and utilizes skills to put these together and create a phone or a computer, then that's what I say that is guided by intelligence or something intelligent.
Okay. Okay, but hold up. But let me just go with what you just said. Okay, so you said that an element of oxygen, basically an element of oxygen is not intelligence because of the definition that Laurent gave. So you're saying be able to use it. So when an oxygen merges with hydrogen, either the hydrogen or the oxygen, they don't have intelligence enough to know to merge with one another. I'm just asking to see. No, not yet. Kevin. So I'm basing it on
trying to get around
based on your response.
No, that got it.
Not at all. Not at all. But this question was addressed to LaRon and Kevin, though.
LaRon, can I answer that?
So Kevin, I'm asking you based on your response, though. I'm asking you, are you saying, because I'm still confused. You didn't say no. So the oxygen element is not intelligent. Is that what you're saying?
No, you asked us for our definition of intelligent. Then you brought up an element and put that in relation to my definition. I will say no.
Okay. Well, I asked the other way around. I asked the element first. So when now I got a follow up because of what you said. Let me just ask this follow up then. So when an element of oxygen decides to merge with another element, what is the oxygen still not intelligent to do that? Like is the like, for example, carbon dioxide or
let's think about it. Did the oxygen?
Well, who said it decided to merge? It just merged.
Yo, Kevin, let me chime in real quick, Kevin.
That's what I'm saying. I see what you're doing too.
Let brother Kevin.
It didn't
Hold on,
decide to
come on,
merge.
man. Come on, hold on, Mikael. You can't let the brother Kevin finish, man. Then let get in. Lex get in. Then you can get in. Mikael, go ahead. Kevin.
Okay, so what I was saying was, by the definition that I gave you, basically we already answered your question already. Because we said what utilizes certain resources, what uses skills, what comprehends, what reads.
Hold on, but don't go so fast. Wait. I'm just trying to slow you down a little bit. So wait, hold on.
When he goes fast, but y'all want me to put the brakes on. All right, but
no, don't say y'all. I'm asking you. Don't say y'all. I'm asking you.
Let me answer slowly. By the definition that I gave you earlier, as far as
just give one.
For something that comprehends, reads, utilizes skills, and plans. And
okay, wait. Wait, hold on. Let's stop there for a second. Utilize skills. So when an element of oxygen merges with a hydrogen element, you're saying that that's not utilizing any skill. So what is your definition of skill now?
Oh my God. Hey, before y'all do that, please just let me chime in real quick.
I see something in Cantonese. I don't know what it says. So in order for me to understand it, I go and learn Cantonese or Mandarin Chinese, and I go back and I read it. That shows forth intelligence. I acquired one element to allow me to do something consciously by plan.
Okay, all right, cool. So I'm not going to drag it out. So let me ask you, do you think insects are intelligent? Like I'm trying to find out where's your beginning of intelligence? Like what would you say is the beginning of intelligence? Like amoeba and single cell organism, are they intelligent in your
The Bible. That's what that nigga intelligent.
Hey,
no, I'm just trying to find out your beginning of intelligence. So, where does intelligence begin? And you know, like the threshold of when you will call something intelligent.
Let Lex answer. You answer that, Lex. Go ahead, man.
All right, check it out, y'all. I'm gonna show you how silly this is, right? When you look at atoms and the formation of chemicals, these are ruled by laws. So when you, like, what's oxygen? H2O, right? You combine two oxygen atoms with a hydrogen atom.
That's water. That's water. That's not oxygen. Water. But go ahead.
Right? You get water.
Right. That's water.
That's what I was saying. H2O.
Hey,
right.
Listen.
See how the game you try to play?
Come on, man, let the brother finish.
No, I said
nothing yet, man. Let him finish,
so
go ahead.
Every time you do that, you get water. That's a law. That means that if you have a law, that law was put into place by intelligence.
Law.
So,
what's the law?
So listen. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up, bro. That means that those atoms do not have the ability to decide that they can do something different when that combination happens. This is called classical physics, something Art needs to study. Just like when you said, nature's intelligent. When you look at nature, we know that if you do this, you get that. This is called the laws of nature, right? That nature cannot decide, well, I'm gonna start operating differently tomorrow. The sun is going on an orbit, and the Earth is going through its orbit, and it does the same thing, 365 a year. That is a sign of intelligence. That's just like a machine. So these are called the laws. Like you got the law of gravity, and you got all these other laws. So for him to ask, is molecules intelligent? Because when they get together, they form different chemicals and substances. It's silly. This is only showing that just like a programmer, that they do exactly what they're programmed to do.
Okay,
exactly.
so Lex, hold on, Wudjau.
Hold on, Wudjau. Now, listen, I agree with that because what we see is there is a mindset that's programmed this, just like we talk about the DNA. So there's nothing different, man. So even when y'all deal with this dung beetle, y'all only improving intelligence design. And y'all, and laws are not conscious. I mean, when you talk about elements, they're not conscious. They do what they told to do. They do what they're programmed to do. Bottom line.
That's like actually.
Okay, so
well, is a robot is your computer intelligent?
Based on all the responses, well, really based on Lex's response and what you just said, Laron, is that because what Lex described was the ability to choose, and that's like will. So basically, intelligence is being used synonymously by Lex as the ability to change or to do something of its own volition. That's what he just explained in a nutshell. And then, Laron, you're basically backing it up by saying that, it doesn't, it's laws, or it just does what it does routinely and it can't switch up. So that's what you're saying. You're calling that intelligent design. Am I correct?
That's part of it. Yes, absolutely.
Crazy, yo.
Okay,
you show me where molecules can get together and say, you know what, man, I think we're gonna switch this up the way this works.
Hey, check it out.
It's not too
obvious. It happens all the time. It actually happens. It actually happens. Depends on the conditions. It does. It actually happens. Depends on the condition.
Listen, hold up. Let me watch this, y'all. He said it happens, right? The conditions. Hold on, check it out. The conditions. Wait a minute, bro.
If somebody else.
If something changes for conditions, if something changes because of conditions, then that means it was still an outside force that moved them to change. They did not have the intelligence to say, you know what, I want to be creative today, and I'm going to make H2O something else. You see what I'm saying? That's ridiculous. And this is why I say, man, these conversations are actually just childish when it comes to stuff like that.
Okay, so then.
All right, so I'm not sure why he's still on the phone then. All right.
I wonder why he's on the phone.
Let Kevin get in, man. Let Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin.
I'm just trying to have a discussion with the fellas.
Right, hold on.
Go ahead,
for example, we deal with the macromolecules that are in charge of creating life. Now, a lot of scientists, or the majority of the consensus, would agree that everything started from a natural RNA world, or what we call the RNA world. And basically what they're saying is that DNA would have been too complex of a macromolecule to arise on its own, so they're suggesting that the four nucleotides, adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil.
No.
Hold on, bro. Who said that?
Oh, man, you can't do that, man. Go ahead.
No.
Let the brother go,
I know
man.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, let him go.
Okay,
let him go, then you can speak.
Right? Hold on.
Hey,
okay, so let me ask
how long y'all got on this call? That's all I want to know, real quick.
Let me ask you the question.
We got 28 more minutes, man.
Hold on. So let's deal with the RNA world, right? So let me ask you this question: what came first, the nucleotide bases? Wait a minute, hold on. What
I don't
came
know,
first?
brother. You tell me.
Hold on.
I don't know, brother. I said I don't know.
Hey, Kevin, don't ask no questions, man.
Just no if you don't know anything.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right, that's all I'm saying. So anyway, let's deal with the science of it.
So what came first, though, Kevin?
That's what I'm asking.
You're going to give us the answer.
Let him go. He can't give you the answer. Let him go.
I don't know, and he don't tell me.
Okay, well, let him go, man. Let him go.
That's facetious.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right, listen, hold on. Just for the sake of him, Kevin, so he won't cry and say that I'm trying to dodge the conversation.
Come on, man. We try to let the people hear this, man. The people need to hear this information, man.
People want to know. All right, listen. Let me continue what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. He's trying to tell you. You won't let him speak.
When you deal with materialistic cause, and you're talking about the formation of just the RNA macromolecule, you have 4 nucleotide bases. I hope you're listening, You have adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil. Right?
Yeah.
Now, when you look at these,
where it comes from, okay?
Hold on. You have to
deal
with it. We talking about where did it come from?
No, man, let him finish.
No,
don't let him divert. Let him finish.
He's trying to sidestep and dodge. I know that.
I'm not trying to dodge. I'm saying, then where does that come from?
Come on, you being unfair, man. You being unfair to the people, man.
If you know, then I'm
we having a conversation right now.
You trying to dodge?
You gotta let him finish.
He does this all the time, man. He'll let me.
I'm not dodging.
Right,
I don't know what I do all the time. I'm saying right now.
When you deal with the difficulty, if you want to lean on a materialistic cause on how the RNA came together, you're dealing with the various half-lives of each of those nucleotide bases. Okay. For instance, you have cytosine, which has a half-life of 19 days. You have uracil that has a half-life of 12 years. Then you have, it goes on and on. So each of these have a different half-life. It is impossible for them to form based on experiments that they have done. There has been no proven experimentation of a self-materialistic replicating RNA molecule. Furthermore, for the environment necessary to create each of those 4 bases, guess what? Is not suitable to create the ribose sugar necessary for it to even connect to, because that's what RNA means, ribose nucleic acid. So they're talking about the nucleotide bases coming together by chemistry, yet the chemistry doesn't even allow the ribose for it to connect to. So the only thing that can create it is what? An intelligent agent. And guess what? The only known example of a replicating RNA molecule was synthesized by intelligent scientists, watching it carefully, looking at the hydrolysis, and not allowing it to die or any of the half-lives to come close. So if you want to talk about all of these things and how it came together materially, then you have to explain that. But we have no evidence for it. So the only conclusion, that's why scientists are going towards an intelligent cause, because they're looking at the dramatic problems
Kevin. Why you keep doing that?
Caused by looking at these things. There are a dramatic amount of problems.
Okay.
Go ahead.
First of all, that's why I asked him, where does it come from? And I said, no one on this phone knows where it comes from. Scientists don't know where it comes from. So the fact that a human was able to do certain things, the fact that the human was to do certain things does not mean that it was something outside of that, like some type of intelligent design on that. So they're not going towards that, Kevin. You're not listening. What they're saying now is that nature itself is intelligent. It's the exact same thing the Egyptian text says, brother.
Hold on. It doesn't matter. If this, hold on.
Wait. That goes against the second law of thermodynamics, though, brother.
Wait a minute, Kevin.
That goes against the second law of thermodynamics, though.
Here's the problem.
I got my hand up.
It's like a man who's hungry.
I got my hand up.
Hey, Kevin, you did the same thing I did. LeBron, you did the same thing I did.
No.
I got my hand up. I got my hand up. All
right, well, go ahead. Well, let Wudjau get. You done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm just saying.
Let me say this before I let Wudjau go. Now, what he's saying goes against the second law of thermodynamics. What he just said. If it's so, hold on, brother. If it's so intelligent, if nature is so intelligent, then why isn't it basically keeping mating for itself? Why do you know where
LeBron, why do you know where life comes from and nobody on the planet knows right now? Why do you know that? Why do the niggas on the phone
go ahead with
y'all not getting paid for it? Kevin, why don't you seem to know, Kevin. You seem to absolutely know where life came from. You, Lex LeBron, then y'all niggas need to start feeding.
My stance is that I believe life came from an intelligent cause.
Say you don't know. No, you say you don't
know.
No,
I said I believe life came from an intelligent cause.
So the truth is you don't know.
RNA.
You decide to throw your religion.
This is why.
You write in your text to tell you where life came from.
You say you don't know, and you have decided to throw in your particular brand of religion.
Wait a minute, bro.
Because
wait a minute. That is the point.
But
Wait
your
a minute.
own text told you where life came from, though.
Hey, Kevin, is your
I heard you use
designer
KhepeRa? I heard you use this on many blog talk shows. I can use the same logic on you. If you're saying that no one knows, and you have no cause or evidence or experiment to explain it, how then can you take a stance on the other side of the table?
No, I'm not on the other side of the table. See, that shows me, Kevin, that shows me that you don't understand evolution.
I can see
it's not on the other side of the table because evolution does not propose.
So then why you talking macroevolution then? Why you talking macroevolution? Let me test our experiment.
I just got next.
Brought forth.
I got next, man.
Made by the phylogenetic.
I got next.
Hey, Kevin, you and I both know. You, LeRon, and them both know that evolution does not purport where the fuck life comes from. It's simply dealing with life after it's here, bruh.
Right. Wait a minute.
Biological evolution.
Hold on. Don't cut me off.
Y'all been cutting me off for a minute now.
I was going to say,
all I'm simply saying is,
you have to remember,
so if you agree with me, then I'm not on the other side. I'm not on the other side. So intelligent design, you can have that, Kevin. You can absolutely say that. You can have it. Don't take that.
Okay,
Let
me ask you a question.
That's cool.
Was this conversation not about intelligent cause?
Hold
on.
Yeah, I just want to say something.
Hold on. I'm going to make a quick statement. I promise it's going to be real quick. The quote that Wudjau made from his own translation of the Egyptian text was speaking about the origins. The origins. It was not talking about the progression of speciation. It was talking about the origins of all things.
It didn't have an origin there.
So wait a minute.
It didn't have an origin.
So the argument.
Egyptian text.
Hold on.
It was
hold
Egyptian
on. I'm
text.
going to correct you when
hold
you
on.
go on.
And it wasn't evolution. Listen, I was simply showing that somewhere in that Egyptian text, right? Although they
weren't talking.
Wudjau
was talking, and he was making
origins
claim.
Kevin, why are you mixing it up, though, Kevin? Kevin, why are you mixing it up?
Talking about biogenesis or abiogenesis?
No, you're mixing it up, though, Kevin. Kevin, you're mixing it up.
Hold on.
What he read.
Okay, go ahead. Say what you got to say because you got to cut them off. Go ahead, then.
I'm not going to limit myself because
Kevin, what I'm trying to show you. Let me finish talking, Kevin.
Man, come on.
Kevin, let him go, man. Let him go because
man, if you look at the Egyptian text, it's simply talking about existence and how existence transforms. That's what it's talking about. The whole conversation was supposed to be based off of the dung beetle, which shows how things exist and come into existence. I think I proved my point. Now in the different conversation where you're trying to purport where life comes from and it's only intelligent design that does that, I'm saying, well, nature itself is intelligent. I just want to make these points very, very crystal clear so that when people listen to this tape, know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not. It could have been Yahweh. It could have been the Martians. It could have been all that shit.
Right.
Trust me with that. If that's
but wait a minute. But again, the conversation was geared towards arguing whether that cause was materialistic or intelligent. Let's not beat around the bush. That's what this is about.
You made it that, Kevin. Kevin, you
no,
made
we did not make that.
Kevin,
so why was there? If that was the case, then why was there objections when LeRon and Lex argued that point?
Man, I don't know what objections was on the table. I'm saying the conversation
was towards the intelligence.
Read the title, man.
The objection made toward the intelligence. That you're making a counter argument, right?
The argument was that the existence said existence was existence.
All right, well, go ahead. Let Wudjau go, man.
Oh, my God, dude. Think about it.
Let Wudjau go. Go ahead, Wudjau. Let Wudjau go.
Because like I said, I wasn't on the beginning of the conversation, so I'm kind of like at a loss at some of the stuff y'all talking about. But I just want to say this because whenever you using Kemetic text or Kemetic stories or whatever, you have to understand their paradigm that nothing exists outside of existence. So, and I don't know what you all believe in terms of if there's anything that exists outside of that or not. So I'm going to leave that alone. But I do want to say that the reason why I asked about the element, and I use oxygen as one, and I asked about intelligence, is because although I said oxygen, we could look at the entire periodic, all of the elements on the periodic table are made up of the same ingredients. They're just arranged in a different they have different quantities, but they all have the same ingredients. In other words, all of the elements on the periodic chart have protons, neutrons, and electrons, all of them. So they're all made up of the same substance, but yet the reason why we label them differently is because they have different quantities of these substances. So we're looking at a certain arrangement. So, for example, the way that the elements are arranged on the first shell of outside of the nucleus, it can only hold 2 electrons, and this is true for all of them. The second shell can hold a maximum of 8 electrons. The third shell can hold a maximum of 18, and the fourth can hold a maximum of 32. This is true for all of them. So although we differentiate all these different elements by calling them names like hydrogen, helium, oxygen, boron, and all this other stuff, they're all part of the same substance. It just differentiates in its in its quantities, which is why we can differentiate it in our mind and our understanding, and when we discuss it. This is why it's called the periodic table of elements, because every period or cycle, these elements repeat and repeat and repeat. So this is the idea that ancient Egypt had.
Why they break it down, though? Why they break down, though?
No, hold on, LaRon.
Hold up, wait. Let me just finish real quick. This is why science now is catching up to the ancient thought or the ancient expression of this, where they're saying nature itself is intelligent, because they're seeing these different patterns and cycles, and nature does it naturally. So this is what the story does. That's why I read what I read, because the Creator itself is existence itself, and the reason why we call things a thing and we differentiate it is because we're looking at different quantities of the same substance. That's it, and that's all I gotta say.
Okay.
Well, let me say this. Hold on. Let me respond. Hold on. Nah, because okay, go ahead.
Oh man.
All right. So
go ahead.
We talked about the different elements, and we know that these. Lex Lee Vortex made a great point. We understand that these things are arranged or come together by certain laws. That means that we know that these elements are chemically determined, meaning they come together by certain bonds and this, that, and the other. Now, when it comes to speciation or even dealing with animals, we know that we're stepping within the realm of macromolecules. I'm talking about DNA and RNA. My question to you, Wudjau and Ankh, is DNA and RNA chemically determined?
Is it chemically determined?
Yes.
Hold on. He finna put him in the box. Go ahead.
Hey, put nobody in no damn box. What do you mean? Is it chemically determined?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm asking. Okay, let me break it down for you. I'm asking, does the chemicals specify and arrange the assembly of both of these macromolecules?
Is it chemically? I don't know.
Okay.
He's asking Wudjau, man, but go ahead though. Wudjau,
hold up. No, I thought he was asking. Go ahead. Ask your question again.
I said both of y'all.
Okay, ask your question again.
It's about the elements and about nature being the intelligence that created all things. Therefore, on a higher level, I'm just going to say vaguely, we're dealing with a materialistic explanation because it's nature. We're talking about something that's already in existence, that's creating existence, right?
Well, no.
Oh, man,
okay, bro. Okay, well, I'm stepping on.
No, don't say. Let him finish
the question. Man.
Oh, go ahead. I'm trying to understand your question so I can answer it.
Question then. I'm going to scratch that. Okay, my question is this: if we know, as Lex put it, and you already agreed several times, that the elements are chemically determined, meaning different.
Wait. No, I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
My gosh.
No, hold on. Come on, man. Don't do that, bro. Go ahead, man.
Hold on. Is RNA and DNA macromolecules that we know are used for life? Are they chemically determined? Meaning, are they assembled by chemistry?
Okay, let me ask you a question. You're mischaracterizing what I said. Wait. I'm answering your question. Wait. Listen to me. Let me answer your question,
bro.
I know, but inside his question, he's making an assumption that's not true. Number one, what Lex said and what I said is two totally different things. All right, so your question is not.
I said scratch that. I said forget about it. Just answer my question.
Okay, go ahead. Let him answer the question.
Okay, so ask your question without the chemicals, because you're saying something I didn't even say.
Yo, the man a minute ago just gave you some laws about there can only be 2 electrons on this one, and then 8 on that one, and then 18 on that one. So he agrees with what I said.
Hold on. Let's just begin with this conversation. Just pretend this conversation just started. Are DNA and RNA chemically determined? That's it.
I don't understand what you mean by chemically determined. By who or what?
All right. Okay, for example, you have
he
hydrogen.
just killed himself. Go ahead, though.
H2O. So we have
No. I'm asking. When you say determined, because I'm trying to understand.
All right, go ahead.
Who's doing the determining? Go ahead.
He gonna tell you. Go ahead.
Does the chemical bonds that occur within the different elements, as you illustrated earlier, how these different things come about because the way they bond together and their relationship to one another, they create something. Like we were talking about 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, right? How these things bond together to create these certain things. I'm asking you, is DNA, RNA, are they governed by this process? Are they chemically determined?
Okay, I don't understand what you mean by chemically determined, but I will say it's governed by the same thing. All of existence does the same thing.
Okay, very good. How is it? Okay, do you know? That's wrong, by the way. Do you know that all the nucleotides within DNA and RNA are using the same chemical molecule?
No, I don't know.
Using the same chemical molecule, how then?
Wait, I just said I don't know.
These, all right. So to conclude, there is no chemical determination in RNA and DNA. Chemistry does not determine the specificity and alignment of these elements, because you have a ribose, you have a sugar phosphate, and you have each nucleotide that connects to the ribose via a phosphate, the same chemical bond. Meaning, if we are to specifically just look at it from a chemical standpoint, chemistry will not know what's going on. It will be the equivalent to a refrigerator with magnets that spells out "I love you, Daddy" in magnet letters. The refrigerator just knows the relation of the magnet. It cannot specify the order of those letters based off the same magnetic pull. So wait. So just so I understand.
Let him finish. Then you can go. Go ahead. Keep going, Kevin.
I mean, basically,
I thought he was
that's
finished.
it.
He said, okay.
So the bond does not determine what the specificity of that element is. Likewise, the ribose connected to a sugar phosphate does not specify or have anything to do with the arrangement and alignment of the nucleotides. Therefore, if nature, using the process of chemistry, were to be the being that created being in the creator or the intelligent design or as materialistic cause, it will fail. It will have no way of doing it. That is
it's
the
called
problem.
Sequence, man. And sequence is intelligence, bro. But go ahead, though.
So I'm done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys don't even know these things, man. It's like, it's a wrap.
I like
man.
to have you guys respond to that. If nature determines things by chemistry, I'm going to repeat it again. How then can it arrange it? How
man,
can it
you asking
specify
a crazy ass question, yo. So what do scientists say
it's
about
not,
that, brother?
man. No, it's not.
I said, what do scientists say about
understand
that?
It,
what do scientists
right,
say
it's
about
crazy
that?
those who don't understand.
No, I'm saying, what do scientists say about that? Is what I'm asking you. So
they're still trying to figure it out.
Know.
What do you think?
Okay, so they're still hold on. Wait, dude. So if they're still trying to figure out why the fuck would I do that? Why would I know that? If they're still trying to figure it out with labs, why the fuck would I know that?
No.
It's straight foolery you on right now.
What I asked you
say they trying to
then why you arguing from a standpoint of ignorance then, huh?
What I asked you, scientists know. I spoke to a plethora amount of scientists and biologists and got the answer quick.
I'm on the show.
It's not nothing nobody knows. You should have been able to answer the question whether there were chemical
determinants. No, I shouldn't have because I don't know everything, brother.
Okay, so if you don't
hold on. Let me chime in. I got cut off. I got cut off for a second.
If I don't know,
you don't understand what I meant. You didn't understand the question.
Wait.
You didn't understand what I was talking about. Yet you have a counter argument.
Hey.
Kevin, you know what, Kevin?
Hey.
You just said a lot of
guys
don't fucking know. So it's a dope question for real. It's a bullshit question, Kevin, because you know
it's not.
I want to respond.
Okay, hold
on, Kevin. I don't understand. Why is it you would ask me something that science don't know? Because scientists don't know.
No. Scientists know this. Scientists
know what,
let me repeat it. Scientists know that DNA and RNA is not chemically determined. They know this. I asked you something that science knows, and you did not know.
And I said, okay. and I said I don't know. And I'm believing you lying at this point.
So
you can't be arguing from a standpoint of ignorance.
Right. So that means he's making a decision based on ignorance.
See, he's back on that origin of life shit. That never was my argument, man. See, that's what you fucking up at, Kev. And everybody.
This is what I'm saying. If you telling me who started, hold on, bro.
Origin
hold on.
of
it's like
RNA and DNA, bro.
Do I know who started NWA?
Why do I gotta say
and
it?
I can't name Cube. I can't name none of the cats from NWA. Yeah, you gonna make a point about when they albums came out. Not all the time I gotta argue.
You're bullshitting now, Kevin. And I know
you bullshit.
You know why I know you bullshitting, Kevin? You know why I know you bullshitting, Kevin? You know why? You're killing yourself, Kevin, because you're telling me about how RNA and DNA is replicated and can come into being. That's exactly what your conversation is. I never had that argument with you, so I wasn't talking about the NWA.
We're not talking about what historically went on between me and you.
You were talking about right now. You're asking me, how is it that certain things come?
If he can't see how that's related to evolution.
I don't understand this. I can't.
Hey, Kevin, I just want to respond. You had asked me a question though earlier. I got cut off.
He's sitting there asking me, right, about the origin of RNA.
You the last one to speak, Kevin. The last one to speak. I muted their mics. Since you was the guest on the show, you got some closing statements, man. You got.
But LeRon. All right, LeRon. Can you not agree that the conversation has now shifted to actually how do things come into the material world? That's what he's basically talking about now. That's what he's doing right now. I think when Kevin, and for you to act like you're not saying that, disingenuous, man. It really is.
Hold on, I think
because that wasn't the original conversation. The conversation based off of the damn words, it clearly says the dung beetles. I proved my point that dung beetles absolutely help human beings understand their natural world. I proved that the African did it and Darwin and modern science did it. That's all my argument was. Now, when you get into how does the RNA and DNA replicate, I don't fucking know. My argument, bro.
Hold on, Wudjau. Hold on, Wudjau. If Unc gonna substitute his time for you, then he can do that. But he's the last one got to speak. We don't have that much time.
I'm gonna substitute my time.
Go ahead, Wudjau. Go ahead.
Okay, just real quick because it seemed like Kevin kind of shifted because he's using my statement and then he formed his other question, and I'm saying they're different because I was talking about the periodic table of elements. The elements, not the molecules, which is the formation of these elements into different molecules, which is what DNA and RNA and stuff is. So So his question seems to be like a different thing than what I was talking about. I was just talking about why I asked about intelligence in reference to the element of oxygen earlier, and then I related back to the whole idea about nature or how ancient Egypt they saw existence itself as being the creator itself. The creator, there's nothing beyond existence to the Egyptians, period. And everything in existence that we call these different things are differentiations of the same thing. So everything is really the same and multiplicity in unity all at the same time simultaneously. So that's all I was saying. And I was using the chemical chart.
Right, and that's exactly what modern evolution talks about. It says that everything on Earth is diversified, and it's the same goddamn thing. So whenever you see anything living, you're looking at the same thing, just diversified. Why the fuck?
All right, cool.
Anybody
so let me. Okay, cool. I appreciate y'all coming out, but let me go on and do it like this because this show finna get ready to end. We got another show coming tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I thank you for coming out, Unc. I thank you with Joel and the people who you brought out with you, too, just as well, Unc. I thank the brothers for coming out. Lex, thank you for coming out, bro. Mikael Ben Israel and also Kevin G. You know, unfortunately, we didn't get to the questions tonight. It got kind of heated. You know, we had two questions, and we had some questions I wanted to get to. We didn't get to. We had two people that had their hands up. We didn't get to them. But I will say this, you know, for those that are listening in, we see that what was going on tonight is that in the process of explaining about the dung beetle, whether or not anyone wants to admit it, there is intelligence behind this. Now, if you want to say that nature is intelligence or whatever the case may be, and you want to try to define it the way you want to define it and bring out different texts or whatever the case may be, okay, cool. But bottom line is, what we're showing people is stuff that was said tonight amongst the brothers that came on, not saying but the brothers that say that they know the text, they're confusing a lot of people. And they're not answering our questions directly. Everything that they speak about is indirect, and it's not on point, man. Like, that's why we have to get straight to the point with these brothers, man, because they try to play games, and I'm not going to play with them. I'm going to get straight to the point, as Lex did, also as the brother Kevin did, and whoever was on the panel defending was intelligence. So when we look at this dung beetle, whether or not they want to look at it or not, this dung beetle is signified as, guess what, intelligence and moving this dung, molding this dung and moving this dung, and also the process of life and rebirth, and which deals with resurrection, basically. That's what we're dealing with, rebirth and death. That's all. Nothing else. But these brothers, man, they try to move the goalposts, whatever the case may be. When you're talking about evolution, that's there. So that's something that we have to deal with. Just want to thank y'all for listening in. We will be dealing with this some more, because I don't think these brothers came strong tonight at all. So I just want to say peace to the family out there, peace and blessings. And like I say, we own it. What they dealing with is not science like they say it is. Some of it is, but it's a mixture of foolery. And we're going to bring that out to the people. Peace and blessings, family.